forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. Net Radio.
I got music in my soul.
really start your day right. Good morning, everybody, and of course, welcome to it. Good to have you here on Net Radio. New Era TT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean. Come on, let's just seek you above and beyond. Beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful, incredible Friday. The gateway to the weekend, it is here. We've been looking out for it for so long. Guess what? It's finally here. As we celebrate Christmas in July, we're kind of winding down that right about now. We're almost at the end of July. The time is really going past very quickly. But good morning, Trinidad. Good morning to Tobago. Neighbors in the Caribbean, how are you doing? Friends and family all around the globe, streaming in different time zones and time slots. Hey, good day to you. And of course, thanks for making your choice Monday to Friday. We are here for the breakfast show. Much thanks to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day and everything that we do, dear God. Let it be a blessing, honor to you all. Yeah? For our early risers, good morning to you. Thanks for showing up. As we welcome everybody to the Friday edition. This is your breakfast show.
Get up, get up. It's the time to start the day. The breakfast show is here. We bring in the soca way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Oh, oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
It's a Friday, baby.
Stuck on you.
Hoppa!
I got this feeling down deep in my soul that I just can't lose.
Doesn't know.
Guess I'm on my way.
DJ Jazzy on the remix, baby.
Needed a friend.
Hey.
And the way I feel now, I guess I'll be with you till the end.
Set up bigger to the world.
Guess I'm on my way.
Shake what your mama gave ya.
Mighty glad to see.
Hey. Your weekend starts right here, baby.
Right here, and guess what? It starts right now. And of course, it's now 10 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. So, good day to everybody. Thanks once again for being here. It's a real pleasure to be in your company. Let me say good morning to my co-host, Richard, who will join us in this hour in a short, I'm sure. And of course, Wendell, who is here with us this morning. So, good morning.
Morning. Hi, Sir Charles. My apologies. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It's Friday morning. We had a little shower rain this morning, but I think it's cleared up nicely. Hopefully, it'll be a beautiful day today. We are here. We are happy to be in the land of the living. Happy birthday. I actually have absolutely no birthdays coming up on my Facebook today. It's July 24th.
Somebody gave a break then.
Yeah, but it is though my nephew, if you want to call him what is he? He is the son of my niece. What would that be? Grandnephew? Great nephew?
Something like that.
It was my niece's son.
I stepped down that nephew.
A great nephew. Jahil, I think today is Jahil's birthday. Jahil, how old are you today? 2? I think he's 2. Terrible 2. And my God, he is a handful. He comes on a Friday and everybody busy because he walks, he speeds up and down, climbing up on chairs. Oh Lord, he is a handful. But I love him too bad. He is such a beautiful guy. You know, so happy birthday, Jahil. I'm sure today is your birthday, and Jahil.
Well, somebody will call you and tell you Wendell is not today, it's next week, or it's tomorrow. But yeah,
Well, my sister Nadia, who will let me know, or my other sister Luan, if she's listening, someone of them will let me know today. I think today is Jahil's birthday, you know. But today is also the 50th anniversary of the country's very first gold medal won by Hasely Crawford at the Montreal Olympics, 1976, July 24th, 1976. 50 years have passed. I know a lot of people, a lot of young people, but anybody under 40 don't know anything about that. You know what I mean? But 50 years ago, Hasely Crawford won a gold medal, Trinidad and Tobago's first gold medal at an Olympics today. And then a year later, if you remember, in that same July month, Janelle Penny Commission, July 16 that was, had won our first Miss Universe, and she became the first Miss Universe of color. So the PNM under Eric Williams, Dr. Eric Williams was in his glee. That's when he said, money is no problem. When he greeted everybody, he greeted Penny, Hasely Crawford first and then Penny. Money is no problem. They both, I think, received the nation's highest award back then. And and they really got a lot of stuff from the different governments. Because even Basdeo Pandey had named the stadium after Hasely Crawford. If you remember, Basdeo Pandey was in government when the stadium was named the Hasely Crawford Stadium. Good days to remember, man.
Yeah.
Morning, Richie.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Why are you echoing?
I'd say Charles probably.
Why wasn't echoing?
No, Wendell not echoing.
Well, it's from your end.
Yeah, Richard is still echoing, Sir Charles.
Yeah, but
I know I'm not hearing an echo from me.
yeah.
Richard, sing something. Let me see if it's because you're talking. Sing something. And there's a scratching noise coming through.
I'm hearing that noise. But I'm not.
Let me come back.
Yeah, go out and come back in, because you're definitely echoing. And your singing is horrible.
Somewhere
Nah, he's still echoing badly.
He went out?
Yes, he did.
Went out. Yeah. Because I'm not echoing and you're not echoing.
No.
So.
But
I
am echoing, Sir Charles.
You'll be echoing.
Yeah, I am echoing now.
Oh, you just so you start to echo?
Yes.
All right. Well, my echo cancellation is off, so you all should not be echoing.
I am still echoing.
Hello?
Richard, let me hear you again. Yeah.
I'm where over the rainbow.
So Richard is not echoing, but I am.
Way up high. Is
But I'm not
a
hearing
land that I heard of once in a lullaby. So I'm not echoing now.
Well, I am echoing.
Yeah, so you see, it wasn't my problem. Only throwing darts at me.
No, but you not echoing now, but I am echoing. So let me do this. Come out and come back.
Yeah, and see what it is. It's obviously a zombie by Sir Charles.
Yes, I have a zombie by it.
Well, maybe I need to come
You
back.
have a cocaine broom? Do you have a cocaine broom?
Rooms are always readily available.
Let me log out and come back.
Yeah, log out and come back in. Let me see if that was the thing. But I'm hearing a little distortion somewhere. I don't know where it's coming from though. But people, this is real radio for you all. We're fixing thing on the fly. We are fixing thing on the fly. Anyhow, Richard, how are you otherwise?
You see, now I'm starting.
You're
We come out.
You are okay. So it seems that everybody has gone out now. to check and see what is going on. I don't understand that this morning. Yeah. I'm double checking to make sure. And I am not echoing, so I can't understand why everybody else is echoing. Yeah, I'm hearing that noise. I'm not sure where that noise is coming from, but
because I was backstage and I was hearing any noise, but I'm still echoing.
Yeah. I don't think I'm echoing right now.
Alright.
Because even people on the chat I'm echoing.
Am I still echoing?
No, you're not. I am.
It's something that's on or something that's shorting because you're hearing that crackling sound.
You're getting static.
Yeah.
Well, let's start over because today's program is hot. Like maybe we're what the last today, no? So if we had to start over, no.
Yeah. That starting over thing is real pressure.
Something happened that we needed.
All right. I think you just fix it. No, I still have it. But I stop here.
Yeah, well, I think it started.
Oh God! I get pie in my face.
I like that. You should show what somebody that give up brain and he said no thanks.
What's going on? What's going on this Friday morning?
I jumped trying to stop us from bringing the news because let me tell you something. I want to read the Express editorial. I think that is everything and almost mirrors what our program has been saying for the last few weeks. I know people don't like to hear me say this, but Trinidad and Tobago, the TPS hopeless, and that Trinidad fans become hopeless. But yesterday, we went a long way in trying to convince everybody that we are.
Oh, you see, Sir Charles has a problem because he came out and everything cleared up.
Yes. Now that he came out.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is encapsulated in that video that would have just briefly come up. Let me see if I can bring it back on.
Oh God! I get pie in my face.
But if it could have been something else that closely resembles pie that could have been splattering on him. But I feel sorry for him still, right? I feel sorry for him because I know he ain't responsible for this mess. He just taking orders or carrying out instructions. That's why I feel a little sympathy for him, because he ain't coming up with this stupidness. He ain't do it. All he had to do is sign it, and he ain't responsible for revoking it.
Wait, I just want to clarify from people that we are actually on here because Sir Charles is off.
No, we are on here. I'm seeing us on Gaia.
Okay, just to resolve the issue because I know Sir Charles is off. Well, he came out. He's still in, but he's off screen. Just to clarify.
No, I'm showing on Gaia, the two of us.
Yeah, but obviously it's something from Sir Charles' perspective because once he came off, it cleared up. So it's obviously some setting that's gone awry. So hopefully he works it out and he'll rejoin us shortly. But anyway, good morning. Let me say good morning officially to Wendell and Sir Charles, and good morning to all of the people in our stream in whatever time zone. So lots happened over the last 24 hours, basically, in terms of particularly the Hadid case. And what is still unclear to me, before we go on, did we do good news?
No, we didn't do anything. We were just starting the greetings. We were just greeting one another and talking. But we got sidetracked with that echoing and that noise.
Sir Charles, Sir Charles, you should be able to. Can you just go to good news and then we'll come back and let's greet.
What was your first impression of me, babe?
First impression of what?
Of me.
Of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I wasn't happy. I really wasn't happy. If you want the truth,
I
you want the
definitely
truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Give me the truth.
I really wasn't happy that she was dating a man of another color. I want her to stay. And I'm being honest with you now, so you want to get mad at me, you just have to get mad at me. But before I finish, and then you can chew me out if you want to. But I really wasn't happy with her dating a man of another color. You weren't the first guy that she dated of another color. There was another guy. And I wasn't happy with him at all. I mean, I just detested him. He treated her terribly. And then when y'all got married, I still wasn't happy that she married into the black family. But I will tell you right now, with a true heart and a true spirit, I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. I don't know of another man other than my husband, and I had to beat the hell out of him. But I don't know of another person that I admire as much as I admire you, and love as much as I love you.
Oh, thank you,
You take
Granny.
care of my families.
Thank you, Granny.
You take care of my family so beautifully and do so much for me and my son. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you like a son.
Love you too, Granny.
And there's nothing I won't do for you.
Love you too, Granny.
You're a wonderful, wonderful person.
Thank you.
I wish white, black, and all were as good as you are.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful video. Absolutely beautiful video. Warms my heart. So, Richard, we can greet people in the chat by the time, and then we'll get back into what's happening.
So it'll give Sir Charles more time to troubleshoot.
Yeah.
Suzanne
Jessup came in last night at 11:33 p.m. Saying good morning to Suzanne, Suzette, Corinne, Mrs. Gemma, Maria S, Maria H. All right, she's reminding us, of course, of the boat ride. Robert Allen at 11:35. It's a fantastic Friday to everyone. Maria Cellier says good morning, guys, and she's also greeting the other group, the same group. Eunice Dublin, also good morning. Trinman, have a safe weekend. John Cato, good morning to the Net Breakfast Show hosts and viewers all over the globe. The weekend is here. Margaret Thomas, Pamela O'Connor, Odell Guy from Sangre Grande, Boy Bidesi from Debe, good morning. I am in Trinidad and I will be celebrating my birthday. I am in Tobago, and I will be celebrating my birthday on Sunday. So happy early birthday to Boy Bidesi from Debe, manager, that's Norris Ferguson, Apollonius, Diane Payne, Manuela Peters, Slick Money Grip, Empress Reyes Lal, Joyce Phillip, Arlene Lewis, Marlon Motley.
Good morning, Marlon.
Marlon Motley from Valsin. You're going again because I know I started to echo again. Debbie Modest, great morning, guys. Happy weekend. Michael Eastman, Lydia Stephen, blessings for a fantastic Friday. Deborah Noel Surrett, Shirma Paul, Mrs. R, Stella Services, Valerie Mendoza, Hillbench, good morning. Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona, Stephanie Santana. She's locked on to the best morning show. Thank you for your endorsement, Stephanie. Angelo Green, that looks like a new name. I don't remember seeing that name. Angela Green. Scorpion Pepper, bonjour, I guess that's supposed to be sunshines. Lester Cragwell, Mrs. R. Oh, he's so cute. Who that? Who's so cute?
There's only one person cute on this show.
Okay. But he's not on air right now. That's the only problem. Ava Smith. Ava Smith, bless rising. Happy birthday to her granddaughter, Rihanna. Happy birthday, Rihanna. That's from your granny, Ava, and from us on the Breakfast Show. Is it Rihanna or Rihanna? I'm not sure. Yvette Scipio, Nadia Stephen, yes it is. I think that means it is Jahil's birthday. All right, Mrs. R, happy birthday, baby boy. Ian Stewart, good morning. All Robert Harper, yes, Wendell, you're echoing. Yeah, I think Sir Charles is working on the issue, folks. Good morning, gentlemen. Continuous blessings. That's from Robert. Brent Hackshaw also says, good morning, Lester Cragwell. Charles need to go out and come back. And he did that. And we have Static. Wendell, happy birthday to your great nephew. Check one of your jacks. Well, experts on the chat, Sir Charles, giving you some advice. Julia Samantha, good morning, guys. Florence Bazi, Kurt Hope from Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you, Hillary. Okay, you're better. But as I say, we're working on the problem. Michael Robinson from Yokohama, Japan. Doreen Pierre, Slick Money Grip Any. I don't know what that is. Rena Jennings, oh, what a period we are living in. What a dream. And we're making the rich richer and the poor poorer. Gavin Frank, good morning. Lester Cragwell, why didn't the Law Association save this administration from this level of incompetence and embarrassment? As Kizel said, some are called to the bar and some are in the bar. Well, the Law Association asked us to reserve comment, didn't they? But look at that. It's a good thing we were commenting all the time. Look at what happened. Eggs, everything else splattered in the face. Richard Phillip, good morning, guys. Hot show today. Everyone locked on. Ella Rizan, good morning. Susie B, Wayne Ramsey, Jerry Vera, that's it. Like Jerry boy, Albert. Good to have you on the show again, Jerry. Prabha Ramdial, when you come in Trinidad again, hit me up. Kim Govaya, very good morning, everyone. Also to the Gael crew. Chris Tutsa, morning. Richard, you are coming. Are you coming to the shop? We'd like you to come. It's going and coming. Are you coming to the shop? What shop is that, right?
I'm not sure.
Was it Rumbox?
I have no clue.
Richard was 2 seconds away from Rumbox the other day and didn't come here.
No, because I was with family and they had to go elsewhere. So I was like,
ideal place to come with family is here.
I had to forget. No, they were going to a particular place, so I had to go.
Okay, all right. Good. You give me a valid excuse there. Robert Taylor, good morning, guys. Miami is the place to be. Apparently, Robert is in Miami spending some time with family. Frankie Andrews, BBMMKV.N. I don't know what I mean. Carla Hercules, Bernadette Yates, that's Bernadette and Melissa Yates, and Kenny in Harlem. Those are all our greetings on the chat this morning. Richard, you have any?
No. But Sir Charles is the one who would usually have. But he would usually have the usual ones, Zena, on the Powerpuff Girls and Victor Phillip. I think sometimes is on his and Ron.
Captain Ron.
And Ron DeSantis and somebody else, 2 other people, I think. He has a usual crew that comes up. All of the WhatsApp crew, good morning. We're just having a little technical problem, so that Sir Charles is trying to resolve. He's probably checking his jacks right now. But at this point, we will just go for a break, and when we come back, we'll give you the news headlines.
Yeah.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Flavor Entertainment Services, your one-stop premium entertainment service provider. We offer top-tier, best-in-class karaoke and DJ services for your private events, sports bars and lounge. Let us help make your birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, and corporate special events memorable and special. Call us now at 462-2029. We provide more than just music. We create memories that last.
All aboard! Calling all you Net Radio listeners and fans. It's time to pack your cooler, gather your crews. Join us for Net Radio Halloween Cooler Crew in red, white, and black. On board the luxurious Island Royalty, Saturday, 15th of August. Records. Boarding at 7 p.m. from Hard Cuts, Shagaramas. We sail at 8 p.m. sharp. Enjoy great music all night long from your favorite net DJs. Sir Charles, CJ, Mr. Flavor, Doc International, RJ, and Fluffman.
Tell you you's a big dancer. Come show
Early bird tickets are just $200. After $250. Get your tickets now at Crosby in St. James, Rumba, St. James, Bobby's Bar in Kure, Fats International in Arima, K Square Fashions at C3 Center, West Mall and Eastgate Small, and all net DJs. No glass bottles allowed. Bring your coolers, bring your crews, and let's celebrate together. Net Radio, Halloween, Hula Cruise. Saturday, August the 15th, aboard the Island Royalty. For information, call 638-2609 or 497-7173. Halloween, on the scene.
All right, we are back from that little news break. Let me just greet Marlene Saunders Sobers, Alistair Hart, and not Bean. Did I say her next name? Merle McComey. All right, Wayne and Jerry chatting there. What would I go? Oh, Richard, I have a book for you. Let me see if I can play. Let me see if you can hear.
Wendell, tell Richard, he forgot my name. I didn't be on the WhatsApp chat. He forgot CJ. What wrong with Richard? Let me come and give him 2 tapedo. All right.
Oh, CJ's been in the WhatsApp chat?
Yes. Most times. She's been in this chat too, but she's mostly in
the stream. That's where I see. We usually call her in the stream.
Yeah, but she's not in the stream this morning. So she went WhatsApp.
Okay. But
it depends on where she is, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing that WhatsApp chat. I'm just hazarding, I guess, who he usually calls. But CJ is usually in the stream.
Yeah. All right.
Well, good morning, CJ.
Morning, CJ, our darling. Anyway, let's get straight into the newspapers today. Because just when you think it couldn't get any worse in Trinidad and Tobago, I wouldn't say worse, but just when you think that you'd get a dull day, think again. Hadid's freed at last. Today, of course, is Friday, July 24th. In a stunning move, Alexander revokes PDOs as probe into alleged assassination plot widens. Now, you see that other second part of that story? I just stoops at it. But there are pictures.
Just to interrupt you, Wendell, you know what was interesting? That kind of foretold that something was up. At the appeal court hearing, because the appeal court was hearing the matter yesterday as an emergency session to lift the stay, right?
Right.
And Gerald Ramdeen, in that hearing, said, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not saying yes to lifting the stay, but I'm not going to object to it. Now, if you're not objecting to it, to me, you're saying yes in a kind of way.
You're saying lift it? Yeah.
You're saying, but he went, I think that's what he's quoted as saying, something along that line. I'm not saying yes, but I'm not objecting to it. In light of the medical conditions and stuff like that. And it was a reversal of the state's usual approach. So I was like, well, that's strange. Why is the state now taking that approach? Now, of course, the Privy Council kind of, it was, I don't want to say it rose to the level of humiliation at the Privy Council, but pretty close down the ladder in terms of how the Privy Council dealt with the request.
The state's appeal, yes.
Yeah, request for the state, by the state to hear it urgently. And the Privy Council said, well, you didn't meet any of the, basically the Privy Councel said you didn't meet any of the criteria for us to hear it urgently.
Yes.
There's nothing that you presented that warranted this, and that the Hadiths were better served by just asking the appeal court to lift the stay, which is why they would have gone there, right?
Yes.
But it was kind of it was a little scathing in terms of if you're reading in between the lines, and they say basically, you can't tell us to list something when you've provided no evidence for us to list it early. So it's going into our next law term, which will be in October.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of those, it was like a domino effect that started to take place, because obviously it may be forewarned that the Privy Council did not take that what they would have presented was sufficient, was articulating that in a kind of way, and the shutting it back to the appeal court for them to, which had already made a decision, it's just that the stay to be lifted, which was likely. And I suppose at some point, as the dominoes fell, the Homeland Security Minister said, look, let me just revoke the detention orders. But why not revoke the detention order for Star Sabga?
Well, that is coming up for hearing today, apparently.
Yeah, but you're revoking the prevention detention order. That wasn't approved. Revoking the prevention detention order has nothing to do with the court per se, you know.
No, and here what they're using as an excuse. I'll read it just quickly for you. Folks, just bear with us, right?
Yeah.
This is from the Minister of Homeland Security. He did not disclose the specific medical condition or details of the recommended treatment. He said, however, that he carefully considered the report and sought advice concerning Hadid's condition and the treatment he required. The minister also disclosed he requested Hadid's consent to be examined by an independent medical specialist appointed by the state, but Hadid refused. In the discharge of my constitutional duty as Minister of Homeland Security, I am required to balance the detainee's right to liberty and the protection of the law with the need to preserve and protect public safety during a public state of emergency. Now, that appeared to be a complete reversal of what was being said just the day before. So they used Hadid's medical condition now as a reason why they free him. The state is mad. Roger Alexander and the government, they are mad. Mad. And you know what? Anytime that, I don't know if they've withdrawn the matter from the Privy Council. I don't think they have. They have not said that. Because when the Privy Council finally meets on this, all these people who've been locked up without charge, all those people had to be free too, you know. And that is why they rushed that thing.
Depending on what the decision the Privy Council makes, it can have effects. But yeah, so you run the gambit when you go to the highest court that it could not go in your favor, and there can be repercussions to what the court says. That's the risk you take.
Yep.
Yeah. So that we will see how it plays out.
Yeah. So Charles is still giving us an echo. As you come back in, we still get an echo. You better just silence your mic. Yeah, Richard is getting an echo.
Yeah, but you weren't getting it this time.
Yeah.
So maybe he's making something.
Let's finish the newspapers.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. On the front page also, there's a picture of Peter George, who is speaking to reporters outside the Hadid's residence. Now, the Hadids have been released without any conditions on their release. Remember that. Remember the appeal court was giving them conditions, which they had agreed to. There are absolutely no conditions now, but I have a warning for them. Well, now I don't have a warning for them. Let me don't put it that way. I just want to remind people about a particular situation. Alwari Hadid's fully free. Court fast-tracks Hadid's case. Lakan Hadid's release reinforces review of emergency powers. Griffith, that's Gary Griffith, fire Alexander. PDO's abused opposition calls for resignations, and also the tragedy at sea and in the back of the Express, because this probably would have been what we were discussing today. The Indian diaspora, they moved after Emancipation Day concerns. There are pictures of former Minister Randall Mitchell and Dr. Pradeep Singh Rajpurit, who is the High Commissioner to India. Replace High Commissioner over cultural incompetence. That story, we spoke about it yesterday morning and started to take legs because the Indian High Commissioner, whilst they didn't apologize, they moved the date from August 1st to August 8th. You understand? But they've not apologized for making such a faux pas. Anyway, those are all stories trending in today's Express, Richard.
But let me go to Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Shocking twist to state's conspiracy to murder case. Hadid's free at last. No charges laid, but minister revokes PDOs against businessman and wife after 1 month in prison. Close to 1 calendar month after they were arrested at their Bayshore West Moorings home, businessman Dominic Hadid and his wife Genevieve yesterday walked out of the Golden Grove prison in Ruka when they were kept, where they were kept, under preventative detention orders while being investigated in an alleged plot to assassinate high-ranking government officials. Family friend Hadid's extremely happy to be reunited with loved ones, I can imagine. Celebration sweeps through blue waters as Hadid's freed. State lawyers in limbo after Hadid's PDOs revoked. Young and Griffith say government heads must roll over Hadid's PDO revocations. A valuation firm gets new director. This is business news. TSTT board now has 3 directors. Economists, S&P gave TNT grace period. National Services Week 2026 celebrating excellence, building competitiveness, and TNT's productivity deficit turning effort into outcomes. And parents celebrate daughter's SCAA success. That's a trending story. NIBTT burdening retirees to prove pension eligibility. God, why did that word give me a problem? Eligibility. Alexander says SOE tribunal.
I nearly call you Richard sorry.
Yeah. Alexander says SOE tribunal breached his right to be heard. Trini fisherman dies at sea. And, a batting woes solution needed. Admire Rutherford head lead. Well, no, I said we had that story yesterday. Some of those old stories in sports. And that's it for the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian this morning.
Mm-hmm. So, as I want to just recall one story for people, right?
Before you go on, I had mentioned Star Sabgan. You said there was something.
Yeah, it's in today's papers that she was not released.
I know,
they said their relative Star Sabga, who was arrested on June 25th as part of the investigation into the alleged conspiracy to kill, remains imprisoned at the Golden Grove Women's Prison. Her matter is expected to be heard today.
Where? At the Court of Appeal?
I would imagine.
Because to me, because the 3 were linked, you should have just revoked all 3.
Well, they weren't all detained the same day. One
no, but they were linked. They were linked.
Yes.
Substantively, they were linked.
But I don't know how. But they didn't actually tell you how it was linked, Richard. But they were linked. It was connected to the Hadid's case. Because is she also alleged to be conspiring to kill? But I think they were saying that she was part of that conspiracy. That, as far as I remember, that's what they were saying. It wasn't, and she wasn't on a separate, different issue. Right. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't. If you're lifting the preventative detention orders against the Hadids, why not lift it against Stab Sabga? Why would you leave her in prison? Again, Richard, this government has made a mess of this whole situation. The Minister of Homeland Security is going to get most of the blame. You understand? As they are calling for his head already. Poor fella, I don't think he had anything to do with it. I think he was just following instructions. I don't know why you are so willing to give him a free pass, Wendell. Because, Richard, I don't think he's not capable of this. No, Wendell, it still comes under his remit. Yes, it does. I ain't saying no. I ain't saying that he should get a... He's the one who has to sign those preventative detention orders. He's the one in his assessment of whatever the facts are. Assessment, Richard? Yes. Will he assessing anything? Wendell, the man is not that ridiculous. People may make fun of him. I'm not making fun of him. I am being as real as possible. You are indirectly saying that he is so low down the intellectual scale that he's incompetent of even assessing anything. That's what you're saying. Is that what I'm saying? Basically.
And I'm saying that you can't.
Well, let me don't say that. Let me don't say that.
You can't say that about the man. He has made certain independent decisions. Is there a broader strategy at play beyond, which is where you're going, beyond the allegations made against the Hadids? But that is something that we don't know at this point. But we can speculate that there is. Because there's a lot of speculation that it's victimization. It's a lot of speculation that it's a land issue that they're victimizing the Hadids on. There's a lot of talk in social media about that. But he ultimately is a minister who has the responsibility to sign those preventative detention orders.
Okay, I concede. I concede he is the mastermind behind this. I concede.
I didn't say he was the mastermind. I'm saying that he has the authority as the minister to say yea or nay.
He is going to pay the ultimate price. That much I know. That much I know. He is going to pay the ultimate price.
Well, in a normal, but I shouldn't say in a normal, but let me say normal. Or let me say in a robust democracy, yes, there would be fallout. And yes, somebody would have to step down as a result of it. Even in the United States under the Trump administration, that happens. That people have to step down because they have bungled things badly. And of course, you had several with that Noam girl and Christy Noam, and you had several examples. I don't have to go rehash them. So that yes, in a robust democracy that played out not only before our eyes but before the world's eyes, because I'm sure this must have made world news on some level. Somebody needs to be held responsible and accountable for what seems like a bungling of the entire issue.
Right.
No matter how they try to phrase it.
So we're going to poll that. Scorpion Pepper, you saw right through me. You saw right through me with your comment. Because trust me. Anyway, I want to remind people of this story of a gentleman who was accused of plotting to kill a government minister. Oh, do you remember that? He was fairly well-to-do, had a real estate company and so on, and he was arrested on a PDO. He was detained under a PDO in the last state of emergency, not this one, right? And he was locked up for all the time during that state of emergency. And then eventually he was released when the state of emergency came to an end, right? He was reputed or alleged to be the financier of that particular person as a candidate in a general election, right? That man didn't last 2 weeks after, I think, he was released from the PDO. Okay? And today we have heard nothing about his assassins. He was murdered. It was captured on film, right? He was murdered. And we have heard nothing since.
Why are you not calling his name, though?
Should I? Danny Guerra? Danny Guerra.
But he's dead.
Yes, he is dead. Danny Guerra. Danny Guerra. Because I didn't know of him before that came to light. Danny Guerra was killed when he was freed after the state of emergency ended. Okay? And then a next state of emergency was called. Right? I just wanted to remind people about that. That's all. Me, this place hopeless. The TTPS.
Why are you reminding us of that, though? I'm curious.
Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
Pick sense out of common sense. I don't trust these people in our church. I'm sorry, I don't trust them. Because they had a chance to have
inferring? Let me not go down what I think you're inferring.
No, don't go down it. Not public.
Because it's that in. I mean,
Don't deal with
all you can give is the facts of the situation with regard to Danny Guerra.
And that's what I did.
He was held by a preventative detention order, and he was murdered when he came out. I mean, when he was out after post the PDO. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what happened and what are the circumstances of that.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular case, because this has been a very high-profile case to Trinidadians and Tobagonians, not only here in the diaspora, and certainly I'm thinking in the Caribbean region, they would have an interest in what was going on. So it really, and it all began, I remember when we started off, and when this first happened, we were saying it was already toxic on a certain level because of comments that were made in Parliament by the Prime Minister and the Attorney General. And I said the optics looked bad because of what they had said. And then this was the result, like a few days after you say something in Parliament, the optics looked bad. And then it played out to the point where even UNC members, I think, were starting to say, why are you detaining these people? Either charge them or release them. If you have the evidence, then migrate that evidence to a case and bring it before the court system where they're entitled to seek bail, or release them. So, because I used to be looking at a lot of the comments, and a lot of the comments, I would say about 90% of the comments was along that line, that people were, where is this going? Now that they're out, of course, the case is still ongoing, inverted commas, it's still ongoing in terms of the investigation, as the Homeland Security Minister said. We still have the Star Sapga issue, which will, of course, will be ventilated in court today. What is the outcome of all of this? One of the definitive outcomes that I hope comes out of all of this is that citizens across Trinidad and Tobago now realize what I have been preaching from day one about why states of emergencies are not crime-fighting tools, and why it's a dangerous precedent to keep using them as that tool, and why your constitutional rights matter. If nothing else, this is a picture book, storybook case of why states of emergencies can wield certain powers and give certain ministers powers that removes the guardrails of the constitutional integrity of your fundamental rights, and how it can go awry.
Yeah. And Richard, today's Express editorial basically points to that. And they said, and I'm paraphrasing here, if this didn't happen, we would not have realized how much power lay in the hand of a minister, you know. In this case, the Minister of Homeland Security. We would not have realized how much power lay in his hands, you know. And for the people who think that my words are in support of Minister Roger Alexander, it's not. Roger Alexander has no right being a minister, in my opinion, especially a Minister of Homeland Security. He has absolutely no right. He is completely out of depth in that position. So I'm not supporting him. I'm just saying he has no right being there to be making these kind of decisions. None, absolutely none. And he is going to end up being the fall guy. Trust me on this. Right? Trust me on it. He is going to end up being the fall guy. He had almost didn't even realize the amount of power he had until they say, but you had to sign this. That is why the Attorney General made the comment in the Parliament the other day. Huh? And even Alexander apparently objected to when he said it, that it is up to the member for Tunapuna to sign these things.
And raise that here. And he shouldn't have said because that's where the went our eyes.
Yeah.
You know, so
Charles, you come back in and echoing Richard again. That's why I'm telling you, he has no right being there. He has no right being there. And look at what has happened. Just look at what has happened. Who you think feeding him the information? He have that information himself.
Well, the information has to come from the security services. But it's certainly pie in the face, basically, for the current administration. On this count, even though you will say that it's still continuing, the investigation is continuing because nothing is before the court. The only thing right now before the court is the Star Sapga case. Well, they still have issues before the court in terms of their deeds with regard to the land issue and the land leases and stuff like that. I think all of that is going before the court.
But did they revoke all that already?
They are challenging it.
Okay.
So they're challenging the constitutionality of it. And so that's still to go before the court. But in terms of the allegations that were made for the preventative detention orders, that's not in the court system because they were never charged. They've never been charged. The PDOs may still residually be, if the matter continues at the Privy Council, if they don't withdraw it, then that certainly will continue. But which is why I always say I like things to go to court because you like to see where the lines are drawn in terms of this. But this certainly has to be embarrassing for the current government because of how it was handled, and certainly how the rest of the country thinks that it has been handled.
Yeah.
Especially because this topic has been, for the last month, this topic has generally been being discussed on social media and in various media, it has been discussed. Now, a lot of people have been very reticent and didn't say much, and a lot of people were, wondering where is this going? How are they proving X, Y, and Z and stuff in terms of the entire situation? And well, here we are today now.
Let me remind people too, also, when the issue of Section 34 came up, who ended up being the fall guy in that? There was a fall guy, and he resigned, Well, fired/resigned, Eventually, he had to resign his seat because he was so disgusted by being set up the way he was set up. He resigned. He had to resign his seat.
Is this what Volney you're talking about?
Robert Volney, yes. This is not this is being rewritten over and over again. I don't forget these things, people. Poor fella. I don't have no pity for him because look where he is. Look where he end up. Anyway, but I wanted to read, our poll is up here, people. Should the Minister of Homeland Security resign? Well, a lot of people are calling for him to be fired immediately. All right, you all would have heard this story. You all know what exactly has happened since, that the Minister of Homeland Security has revoked the PDOs on the Hadids, right, without any conditions. Well, you can't have conditions when you're revoking a PDO. So they are now free to have all the devices, their licensed firearm. They could go where they want to go. They could do what they want to do. They could communicate with who they want to communicate. No police bus can be parked up on the compound, and they can't be monitored. Right? Well, they said they will be monitored. Don't ask me how they're doing that. But this story says that they will be monitored, right? Let me just read that part for you. Exactly 1 month, right. According to Alexander, keeping the Hadids in prison until the end of the state of emergency would be disproportionate, particularly in light of medical concerns surrounding Hadid and a review tribunal's finding that their continued detention was no longer public interest. However, while they will no longer be in prison, the police criminal investigation involving the Hadids will continue, with the minister disclosing that investigations have been expanded beyond the original scope and spans multiple jurisdictions.
Yeah. So now, some of what he's saying there is not unreasonable in terms of saying, well, the medical conditions. So they're saying he's saying the right things in terms of why he's dispensing with the PDOs. Yeah, why is this dispensing with the PDOs? But of course, the country's not going to read it like that. They're going to read it like it was so vehement. And the state was so obviously in attack mode that step it back now can give no other optics in terms of how the citizenry receives it.
Well, listen to this part, Richard. Let me read this. Let me just read this. He said the TTPS had assured him the Hadiths would remain under monitoring and surveillance following their release, and that measures had been implemented to protect those allegedly targeted. He added that security measures have also been put in place in relation to those allegedly facing threats. Further, steps have been implemented to ensure that the safety of those subject to the threat is in no way compromised and any risk is contained. What does that mean? The Prime Minister is fully protected. The ministers have been, they are fully protected. What other measures is he speaking about? I don't know. I don't know. What is the TTPS telling the Minister of Homeland Security, Richard?
But remember, you're still in a state of emergency, I wonder, where those constitutional guardrails are still muted, if you wanted to put it that way. So, I think people think that states of emergency, a lot of people who were for the state of emergency, even though as I say, I always seem like a minority voice arguing against it. They always say, well, if you do nothing wrong, nothing cannot going to happen to you. It will only affect the people who cross. People say something along that line in terms of why but the considerable power that the Minister of Homeland Security has and which is framed in the Constitution when a state of emergency is in existence. And it goes back to the president too, because the president has to look at it more robustly, in my opinion, at the evidence that's presented for her to call a state of emergency. Because as far as I'm concerned, the president can say, no, I don't think it meets the threshold for what the Constitution envisages for when a state of emergency should be called. Presidents need to understand that this is one of the parts in the Constitution that I do not believe, this is my opinion, Wendell, that I do not believe that the president is merely a rubber stamp.
Richard, I disagree with that part. Here why I disagree with that quickly, right? I don't know that a president being faced with the head of National Security Council, and no less a person than the Prime Minister, advised by the Commissioner of Police and the security forces that there is a plot to kill her and kill her cabinet members via a rocket launcher or wherever it is the AG brought to the parliament. I don't know that a president would say, nah, that is not good enough grounds. I can't call a state of... I don't know that, Richard. I don't know that...
Well, Wendell, if that's what was said, but what you have to remember is that there was a previous state of emergency. The state of emergency did not go for the constitutional majority required to extend it because they suspected they would not have received it. So it came to an end.
Right.
A few days later, a new one was called. It is circumspect on the president to analyze, was this a gerrymandering of the constitutional provisions to bypass that constitutional majority so that I can call a state of emergency again?
You know what you're missing? The threat on the Prime Minister only came for the second state of emergency, not the first one. That wasn't the reason why they called the first one.
Well, we don't know if it was any threat on the Prime Minister.
Well, but that's what was reported to us.
That was what they said was for the second calling of the emergency.
Yes.
They said there were security issues that they still wouldn't finish. Remember, they said they had solved the problem.
Right, but it went further to say that because of the threats on the Prime Minister and the members of government, that's when the AG went to Parliament and talked about rocket launcher and all kind of thing. That's when that came, not for the first one, you know. The first one was about dealing with gangs and all these, and the threat then on the defense minister. That was the first one.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But I think that presidents have often been rubber stamps in terms of when they say, call a state of emergency.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. But anyway, we have to go for the news, people. Lester Cragwell.
Be more circumspect. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Lester Cragwell, which is why we use the word resigned instead of fired, right? Because we don't think, I am of the opinion, everybody, not some people don't agree with me, that it's not Alexander to blame. I am of that opinion, right? He has to eventually take the fall. We know that for sure, but I don't think he is totally to blame, right? That's my opinion, all right?
Well, he's
so
not
let's go
that,
for the news, folks.
Well, okay, let's go to the news because there's still a lot to discuss. So when we come back.
Yeah.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on Net Radio and Guile TV. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. Businessman Dominic Hadid and his wife Genevieve are to be released from detention after Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander revoked the preventive detention orders issued against them during the state of emergency. Alexander said the decision followed a review of all the circumstances, including a recommendation by the review tribunal that their continued detention was not necessary or expedient in the public interest. He also considered a medical report concerning Dominic Hadid and the Privy Council's refusal to expedite the state's substantive appeal. The Hadids were detained since June 24th in connection with an investigation into an alleged plot to assassinate Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar and senior government officials. Alexander stressed that the criminal investigation remains ongoing and that the couple will remain under monitoring and surveillance by the TTPS after their release. The opposition is calling for the resignation of the Attorney General, the Minister of Homeland Security, and the Commissioner of Police following the revocation of the preventive detention orders issued against Dominic and Genevieve Hadid. PNM Chief Whip Marvin Gonzalez said the decision justified calls for a full investigation into the state's use of preventive detention orders during the state of emergency. He claimed the government had no evidence to support allegations of threats against the Prime Minister and other officials, and warned taxpayers could face compensation claims. Former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith also called for Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander to be fired, describing the handling of the Hadid's detention as total incompetence. Griffith argued that if the intelligence had been credible, it should have led to criminal charges. Alexander revoked the detention orders earlier yesterday, but said the criminal investigation remains ongoing. The Indian High Commission has rescheduled its Indian Diaspora Day event from August 1st to August 8th, after public backlash over the decision to hold it on Emancipation Day. Former Tourism Minister Randall Mitchell criticized the move and wrote to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, calling for a review of the conduct of India's High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Pradeep Singh Rajpurohit. Mitchell said African Emancipation Day is not just a public holiday, but a solemn national observance marking the abolition of slavery and honoring the struggle of enslaved Africans. The controversy intensified after the High Commission described the change as being in view of August 1st being a public holiday, prompting accusations of cultural insensitivity and disrespect in Trinidad and Tobago's multicultural society. A second body has been recovered after a migrant boat overturned off Los Iros Beach in Erin. Police said the body of an adult male was found near the shoreline on Thursday, a day after the body of a 5-year-old girl washed ashore. Investigators believe the overloaded pirogue, carrying about 20 to 30 Venezuelan nationals and cargo, had left Trinidad and Tobago bound for Venezuela when it reportedly developed engine problems. Police said the vessel struck rocks near Los Iros at about 1 p.m., throwing passengers into the sea before survivors managed to get back aboard and continue the journey. Search teams also recovered luggage along the shoreline, while police and Coast Guard officers continue searching for 2 adults who remain missing. The death toll from Guyana's MV Barima ferry disaster has risen to 65, as Trinidad and Tobago and Brazil joined regional search and recovery efforts. Guyana Prime Minister Mark Phillips said Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard and Brazilian naval personnel are assisting with diving and recovery operations, while 19 vessels and 3 aircraft continue the search for missing passengers. 5 more bodies were recovered yesterday, bringing the number rescued to 76. Authorities are preparing to refloat the capsized ferry using marine salvage airbags before towing it closer to shore to continue the operation. Phillips said the government's immediate focus is supporting grieving families and recovering victims. He confirmed that a commission of inquiry will be launched to determine the cause of the tragedy and whether anyone should be held accountable. Guyana has declared 3 days of national mourning. Finally, former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, will go on trial in the United States on June 1st next year on drug trafficking charges. The couple, who have pleaded not guilty, have been held in New York since being captured by U.S. forces in Venezuela in January. Prosecutors allege they conspired to traffic thousands of tons of cocaine into the United States and could face life imprisonment if convicted. At a brief court hearing yesterday, the judge set the trial date and scheduled pre-trial legal arguments for November. Maduro's lawyers say they will challenge the indictment, arguing he is protected by sovereign immunity and that his capture by U.S. forces was unlawful. And that is Net Radio News at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio. Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
Hey! I went to the bed and I eat and I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave. Oh. Hey! I went to the bed and I eat and I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave. Oh. Hey! Sawa, I come in day. Nova, I come in day. Santa Cruz, I come in day. Yes, a day and a day and a day and a day. Victon, I come in day. John, I come in day. La Panty, I come in day. Yes, a day and a day and I come in day. People, let's come on, people, let's go on. That is one thing I already know. Who said I cannot find me too high to check out my friends, tell them I say no. The sweetest Christmas in the whole world is in Trinidad and Tobago. The reason why this thing is so sweet is tonight it's fun, I'm into one for Arima. I come in day to Napuna. I come in day Aruka. I come in day, yes, a day and a day and a day and a day. Ramen. I come in day Point Fortin. I come in day Biko Martin. I come in day, yes, a day and a day and I come in day. Anybody who wants Johnny White to provide them are not thinking twice. They could have be down in Faizabad. They could have be in Paradise. If they don't have, I will not complain. Bring all the Hennessy and punching. The women win and single barrel and party ginger beer and disarray. Brandy, I come in day from Safari. I come in day to Valley. I come in day, yes, a day and a day. The Arrow, I come in day for the Seco. I come in day on Diablo. I come in day, yes, a day and a day and I come in day. I went to the bed and I eat and I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave. Oh, hey. I went to the bed and I eat and I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave. Oh, hi, 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 hi. I'll be passing by. Hi, 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 hi,
I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave home. Hey. I went and I bed and I eat and I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave home. Hey. Sour, I come in day. Nova, I come in day. Santa Cruz, I come in day. Yes, a day and a day and a day and a day. Victon, I come in day. John, I come in day. La Panty, I come in day. Yes, a day and a day and I come in day. People, let's come on, people, let's go. And that is one thing I already know. Who's an antenna trying me to hide to check out my friends, tell them I say no. The sweetest Christmas in the whole world is in Trinidad and Tobago. The reason why this thing is so sweet is so I get fun having to and fro. Arima, I come in day to Napuna. I come in day, Aruka. I come in day, yes a day and a day and a day and a day. Ramen, I come in day, Point Fortin. I come in day, Dico Martin. I come in day, yes a day and a day and I come in day. Anybody who got Johnny White to
You're locked into Net Radio, Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
Bring on the Hennessy and punches. The homemade wine and single barrel and party ginger beer and the sorry. Brandy, I come in there from Safari. I come in there to the Valley. I come in there, yes a day and a day and a day and a day. The Arrow, I come in there for a Seco. I come in there on Diablo. I come in there, yes a day and a day and I come in there.
Well, wherever you are, wherever you're coming in from, yeah, we come in day and we come in day.
I went and I bed and I eat and I sleep and I wake and I'm ready to leave home.
Well, everybody, welcome inside the second hour of the breakfast show.
Hi, 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 I'll be passing by. Hi, 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 hi.
Doing our best to troubleshoot some issues this morning, so we ask you to please do bear with us.
I come in there.
Anyhow, good morning, and of course, welcome inside the second hour of the breakfast show. Of course, you are onto New Era TT Radio, Net Radio. Monday to Friday, we are here. Wendell Stephen, Richard Rattlebar singing, of course, yours truly, Sir Charles. We date.
I come in there to Safari. I come in there to the Valley. I come in there, yes, a day and a day and a day and a day. The Arrow.
And of course, as we go into the weekend, I want you to know that you can join us at netradiott.com. All throughout the weekend, we stream all day and we are streaming every day, okay? Good morning to the crews who came in very early, and of course all our friends on Gael Caribbean TV. Of course, our morning poll. Yeah, do you think that the Homeland Security Minister should resign? Yeah, so you're voting one if you're voting yes. If you're voting no, you're voting two. When we come back, we'll tell you how you voted. Remember, August the 15th, we're getting the Color Week Cruise. Get your tickets and, of course, get yourself on board.
All aboard! Calling all you Net Radio listeners and fans. It's time to pack your cooler, gather your crews. Join us on Net Radio, Color Week, Cooler Crew in red, white and black. On board the luxurious Island Royalty, Saturday, 15th of August, boarding at 7 p.m. from Hardcuts, Shagaramas. We sail at 8 p.m. sharp. Enjoy great music all night long from your favorite net DJs, Sir Charles, CJ, Mr. Flavor, Doc International, RJ, and Fluffman.
Tell you you's a big dancer. Come show
Early bird tickets are just $200 after $250. Get your tickets now at Crosby in St. James, Rumba, St. James, Bobby's Bar in Kure, Bats International in Arima, Kiss Square Fashions at C3 Center, West Mall and Eastgate Small, and all net DJs. No glass bottles allowed. Bring your coolers, bring your crews, and let's celebrate together. Net Radio, Color Week, Cooler Crew. Saturday, August the 15th, aboard the Island Royalty. For information, call 638-2609 or 497-7173. Color Week, on the sea.
Flavor Entertainment Services, your one-stop premium entertainment service provider. We offer top-tier, best-in-class karaoke and DJ services for your private events, sports bars and lounge. Let us help make your birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, and corporate special events memorable and special. Call us now at 462-2029. We provide more than just music. We create memories that last.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
All right, so we are back. Richard, hold on, don't come back inside yet. Wendell, how are you? Are you sounding all right? Go ahead, let me hear you. Wendell, you're muted?
Yeah, my mic was muted. Oh,
Okay.
I am echoing.
You are.
I did echo just now. Yes, I'm still echoing.
This up.
And you get a lot of static noise.
Yeah, that seems like microphone there.
Yeah. As soon as you get
Are you echoing now, Richard? Wendell?
I'm still echoing. Richard is back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm echoing though.
No, you're not. But I am. So it's switching.
It's something from Sir Charles N. And you know why? Because when he was on alone and both of us were off, you were hearing the crackling sound in the background.
Yeah.
So, which to me, being a layman, means some jack is shorting. That's where my brain would go. A jack is shorting. Something you need to jiggle, and jiggle it until
you pull it out, push it back in.
Yes, and you jiggle
you have
it.
to shove it or just ease it around.
Sir Charles, jiggle it.
Yeah. You know, slide it, put it to the side, don't push it straight in.
Yeah.
You understand? Try something.
All right, you're going down your own rabbit hole.
So you don't do that with jack? Sometimes you don't push it to one side instead of shoving it straight in the hole?
No, I jiggle it, and if that doesn't work, it's time for a new jack.
But jiggling it could make it worse because you actually.
Did you just hear what I said? I jiggle it, and if that doesn't work, it's time for a new jack.
Oh, so you're a jiggler?
Yes.
I'm not.
Or when in doubt, turn off everything and turn back on and hope somehow the technical gods fix it.
Not me. I've been highly successful by just diving to the side, one way or the other, and then let it straighten up itself inside the hole, and that's it.
But the big boss man is an expert on them things, and he is not giving any suggestions.
He already said it's Sir Charles' fault. Since early this morning, he said so.
Yeah. But I think so, because when Sir Charles was on alone, I was hearing the crackling. So I'm saying, well, look, the crackling is happening when you are alone there because both of us were off. So it's obviously something from his end. And it sounds like a loose jack. Hit the road, Jack. Don't come here no more.
Security services clearly logged into Sir Charles this morning and say, see you're coming to defend this
You are make bacchanal with your system.
Yeah,
but you know,
they say, you're coming to defend this madness of your government this morning.
You know, I didn't say that, Charles. But Wendell, I wanted you to read a little bit of. I was trying to find the editorial for the Express online, but I'm not seeing it. So
you want me to read a bit?
If you could read a bit of it, because I think we'll be interested in what they had to say about it. Now, with all that you said about what Roger Alexander, Minister of Homeland Security, said about taking his medical thing into consideration and exercising it, all of those things are correct things, you know. And what he said, and also, I mean, in a kind of way, very, how to put it this way, very sensible in terms of looking at the larger situation. But the people are not going to read it that way.
Richard, Roger Alexander cannot save himself at this stage. He cannot. But I got a call. I got a call during the news break, and I agree. The Commissioner of Police, the head of intelligence, the SSA, they all have a role to play in this because they all would have been advising the Minister of Homeland Security, not so. He ain't come up with this on his own.
So you figure they might be in the firing line in terms of being
they should be, Richard. They should be. You remember when Roger Alexander was first asked about these PDOs? He said no minister can sign no PDO just like that. No detain nobody just like. You remember when he first said that? First interview, he said that. He said no minister, no politician can take no minister. He said that. People go back now, or they check now. And for all who ask him his stupidness about being easy on Alexander this morning. I understand Alexander problem, you know. We all should. You understand? We all should. But he has to take the fall, clearly. Well, if there is a fall to take. But there have other people that should take that fall with him too, including the commissioner. I make no excuse. A week ago, I posted on Facebook, is the AG, Commissioner of Police and the Minister of Homeland Security still employed? More than a week ago, I asked that. Why do they have the job still after this mess that they make with the Hadids? The Hadids could take over Trinidad just now when they're done. When they're done, finish, sue this government. It ain't going to be a SOE after, you know. It going to be a SUE. That is what it going to be. Anyway, let me quickly read the headlines. The editorial. In an about turn sharp enough to swizzle one's brain, the Minister of Homeland Security yesterday revoked the preventive detention orders against business magnate Dominic Hadid and his wife Genevieve, setting them free with immediate effect. A bigger fiasco cannot be imagined. After fighting tooth and nail and going to extreme lengths to convince the court that despite medical reports testifying to Mr. Hadid's deteriorating health, despite the appeal court's granting of their conditional release, and despite the recommendation of the State of Emergency Review Tribunal that they be released, the Hadids were a serious enough threat to be kept in jail without charge. Now, the state has thrown in the towel, citing in part the very medical argument previously dismissed as a reason for his release.
Yeah.
There is not...
Pause there, and you're right. You're right. And well, somebody else who just indicated that to me, because I was saying that, you know, what he's saying is kind of reasonable in terms of Roger Alexander about why he's doing the PDOs. And the person is reminding me, well, it's Gary Griffith, and was Gary Griffith reminding me, and he's right, that those medical issues came up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They were a constant feature of the challenge that the Hadids were making against that PDO. And they were ignored all of the time, and very, very robustly ignored, to the point that Faris Al-Rawi in an interview had said that the state had not given one iota of medical treatment while Dominic Hadid was under detention.
Yes.
So it really does as the editorial is also saying, it doesn't hold water because you have robustly ignored it all the previous times that those things were raised.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden now you presumptively care, you know, in terms of how it's phrased, that you're releasing them on the basis of, you know, the medical reports, which were always a feature.
Mm-hmm.
And their attorneys arguing that his medical condition was deteriorating.
Yeah. Yes, so, from day one they said it.
We could probably have Gary Griffith on if we can take call. Well, we can't because Mr. Jackson's trying to figure out the problem.
Yeah.
Folks,
that's why.
Go on.
Yeah. There is not enough egg for the faces that should be embarrassed by what is surely yet another shameful multi-million-dollar legal travesty to be underwritten by taxpayers. Thanks to the multiple legal challenges mounted by the very high-profile Hadids, the public got the chance to discover much more about the extraordinary power given to a politician in the person of the Minister of Homeland Security to arrest and lock up people, potentially for as long as the prevailing SOE lasts, and to do so without evidence or a single charge. The potential for abuse of power by the state in arresting people under a PDO during an SOE has come as a shock to many who have casually assumed that the normal rules of due process, presumption of innocence, and the individual's constitutional rights continue to apply under an SOE. In freeing the Hadids, the Minister of Homeland Security indicated that the police investigation into the couple would continue and that they would be subject to continued monitoring and surveillance to ensure that the ongoing criminal investigation is in no way undermined. This raises the very serious and pertinent question of why were they imprisoned for a full month without charge when there was nothing stopping the police from investigating them in order to amass enough credible evidence before arresting them on a charge. We now have to wonder how many other people without the financial means possessed by the Hadids are in detention on matters for which normal policing should apply, or who will end up staying in jail until the current SOE ends in September, when they will be released and sent home to cope with the trauma of having been jailed in the subhuman conditions of remand yard and other prison facilities, deprived of their liberty without explanation, charge, and apology. We cannot accept that this is the plight of the people of Trinidad and Tobago in the year 2026. The PDO, as currently structured, should have no place in a country with a healthy respect for law and rights. It places far too much authority and final power in the hands of a politician and heightens the risk of being abused to facilitate political witch hunts, crush critics, and intimidate the population by the exercise of raw state power. If there is an emergency right now, it is to restore a healthy balance between the power of the state versus the power of the people. I could swear Richard write this, and I could swear it came from them listening to the breakfast show.
Yeah, and I suppose ultimately what they're saying there is the only restoring of that balance is the end of the state of emergency.
Yeah, that's the only way. That's the only way to end this fast now.
So indirectly or directly, however you want to look at it, if you analyze that last statement, they're already saying that the state of emergency should end.
Yeah. Yep.
That's basically what they're saying there in that editorial from the Trinidad and Tobago Express. So, I mean, Sir Charles, I don't know if you, could you bring up the results of the morning poll, because we didn't do results. And if you could just bring up the results. And what I want to suggest is that maybe Wendell and I can mute our mics when you take calls and see if the calls can come through. And see, that's a way of getting calls, because I know there are a lot of people who would want to weigh in on the issue.
Yeah. So the results of the poll of people, should the Minister of Homeland Security resign immediately? Notice we didn't say fired, right? Resign immediately. Yes, 95% of you said yes. 5% of you said no, right? 95% said yes. 5% said no. All right? So that's our poll. We're gonna try to get some calls in. Maybe as Richard suggested, we could mute our mics, and hopefully that would we'll just have the caller come in. So let's do that now.
All right. So we open up the lines now for calls, and we will mute our mics while the calls come in. So once the call is coming in, because one of us usually is not echoing, so it's me this time.
Any of you echoing at this point in time?
That's why I muted my mic.
Oh.
So Wendell is echoing. So I could say 2811315, 2811315. We're taking some of your calls. Of course, keep it circumspect, in terms of what you're saying. Let it be more analytical. But 2811315, 2811315. And of course, 299-5156, 299-5156. Once you get a call, Sir Charles, I will just mute my mic just as an abundance, out of an abundance of caution.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Well, people, the lines are open to you. So you can give us a call, right?
Right.
So you wait in the meantime, Richard.
Yeah. So, but maybe if you mute your mic, Sir Charles, Wendell can come back in without the echo.
Yeah.
So Wendell, you can come back in and see if that.
All right. Yeah, man.
Solves the problem.
Look at that. It's a sack in, sack out. It's almost like unplugging the jacks.
Caller, good morning.
Morning, guys. Morning, Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles. Good morning. I think that he should go and clean up himself and come back because they did the same to Jack. They told him to go and clean up his mess and come back. So I think he should do the same. Thank you.
Okay. Caller, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. Morning, Sir Charles, Richard, and Wendell. I was listening to the little convo you all had earlier on with respect to when Wendell was talking about Minister of Homeland Security, that falls and what have you. But in my opinion, I was thinking that in the government, there are ministers who have certain portfolios that can pass instructions to other ministers, I believe, particularly like the Attorney General could give an instruction to the Minister of Homeland Security to sign a document or to do something. I don't know, I might be wrong, Richard. If I'm wrong, correct me. That's my observation. You know?
I want to add to that. The Attorney General, the advisor, the legal advisor to the cabinet, won't he be the one advising the Minister of Homeland Security on how he should conduct certain things? Wasn't he the one who went to the parliament and said that this is the minister, the member, he said member for Tunapuna and pointed at him, who has that responsibility to sign off on these PDOs? Didn't he say that in the parliament? Or you forgetting? It's more than one person to leave office right now.
Caller, good morning.
Good morning on this beautiful Friday morning. I want to say I take a position this morning in a highly charged political environment to side with the 5%. I say that the minister should not resign, the minister should hold the fort. And the reason why I say that is because it's not this minister who making this decision. We heard about the SSA involvement in providing $1 million and one things on these issues. I heard about the commissioner of police have a part to play too, and other people like the Attorney General. Why it is that you are saying now because of the fact that they let go the two individual high-profile people because of health matters and other issues and things, that you say that the minister should take the fall for that. I am saying also this investigation, as far as Birdie told me, is more expanded than just the allegations alone. I understand it has some foreign thing in this case. So I just looking on. I want to be very responsible in what is going on there. I know this is a highly charged political thing. They have fallout for other things too. So I just want to know. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity in making this contribution. Thank you very much.
I would love right now to hear. I would love to hear from the King's Council and them that they brought down to plead to help them with this matter. I would love to hear from these guys because I don't know if the rumor is true that they say they want to part it. But I would love to hear from them.
They withdrew. Yeah, there was a rumor that the King's Council withdrew, but we don't know if it's confirmed or not. But this all started off terribly, and certainly on this morning show, I don't know if on any other morning show we called it as we saw it, but we said it started off terribly by the conversations and the statements made by the Prime Minister and the Attorney General in the parliamentary chamber. When they spoke about the 1% and how we come in for all year and etc., and all of that talk. And then a few days later, this happened. The optics were terrible. And then the whole issue of the land became an issue, and you saw the state revoking the leases. It all, the dots started to line up in a particular way in how the public started to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And the state has no other person to blame but themselves.
Yes, it came across as a personal vendetta against the Hadids.
That's how it started to come across, and it may be. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, and that there is some validity. It's out the window because the optics and perceptions of the public in terms of what was happening is an important issue. Perception becomes truth for a lot of people, and you laid out the template in a really slipshod manner in terms of dealing with the affairs of the state.
Yep.
All right, stick up in right
well,
here.
Of course, I am totally against the state of emergency being used for fighting crime. All that is my. So it would never have happened in the way it happened if you didn't call a state of emergency.
All right, hold 1 minute there, guys. Caller, good morning.
Morning, guys. Richard, you are so correct. Paul man here. I want to say that they call it for Alexander to go, but in a real country, in a real peaceful country, this whole government is supposed to resign. Right? Look what transpired in England. Right? And had it not if the Hadis didn't have the means, what about those rest of people who languishing in jail on PDOs, they do 500 people or whatever? They don't have the means, but the majority of them, I sure, innocent just like Hadid. Right? Innocent before proven guilty. And oh God, let go the people. This whole government supposed to go. I'm not apologetic to this. I understand where they're coming from, They should not the black man under the bus. But for himself there. And I don't like what is happening to him because he's my complexion, because he's my race. But he put himself there. Just like others went in the past, and they know what this government gives, they know what the UNC gives. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to see that our country is going on the road that it is going on again with this government. But guys, a lot more listening.
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't even raising the specter of his ethnicity, but trust me, I just laugh, I just chuckle quietly at what is happening and who it's happening to. I just chuckle quietly. I say nothing else on that. You understand? All I know is that Roger Alexander ain't come up with this by himself. He couldn't. He ain't come up with this by himself. Don't try to convince me he come up with this by himself.
And so, Charles, could we try to get Gary Griffith on? Because I'm sure Gary Griffith has a lot to say on it. And I'm sure he'll take the call.
Okay, no problem. I will try and see. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to everyone there. Good morning. I just want to say that there's another guy who was on a PDO, and his sister came on television begging for him. Johan, I think he was arrested with the young girl who was protesting for her friend. With the murder that took place of the young couple now. You remember the fellow who they arrested is Johan or something, so is his name? When
I don't remember. I don't remember that.
That he said, the sister said he suffers from he's sick, he's a sickle cell patient, and she was on the television begging that the authorities look at it because he was sick, because he got sick while he was there too. They have these attacks that come on.
All I can say, Zena, is that the Privy Council. All I can say, Zena, is
I'm wondering what about him now as well.
Well, it's not only him. There will be many other people that may be in PDOs where there is not sufficient evidence to charge, and they're still being detained. And the Privy Council, in my opinion,
medical history of that guy. I saw him make a video already from hospital saying how he was enjoying the food. But so I know from what the history is, he's a sickler. So I'm wondering if you could release on somebody on that, and especially the sick ones. But and as you say rightly, it should be everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, but the Privy Council cannot make a decision fast enough on the constitutional extent of PDOs. I don't know how they're going to rule. I don't know how they're going to rule, but they can't rule fast enough on that.
But apparently that decision not coming until they meet again in October, because this term is coming to an end. I think that's what I heard on the news last night.
If the decision from that 2011 PDO is because of that 2011 decision, if the decision from that 2011 PDO is going to come before the end of the term or it's going to come in the new term. But it can't come fast enough to give some sort of direction, legal direction from the highest court as to the constitutionality and what are the extent to which PDOs can be used.
Richard, you know what I'm wondering? When the state went to court to defend, to ensure that the Haddies remain in jail, and they said that the potential for them outside could be so harmful and so dangerous to the people who are allegedly under threat, then some words like that used around those words, that the danger of them being on the outside and being able to communicate would make them a bigger threat. Don't we have people in this country, Richard? We have read stories, right? That people have called shots from jail and people get killed on the outside and they say the shot called from jail. Did we read stories like that over the years, even under the last government and before that? So what foolishness was that excuse that if you let them out, the threats increase because they're on the outside? Give me a break now. They really take this everybody for fools, you know. And now they're out. What going on happen now when they're out? They're going and do like in China, when G passing, the whole highway network is shut down, you know. No other car could be on the road, you know. Is that what they're gonna do? Please.
All right, so I'm trying to see if I can get Mr. Griffith, right? I'm waiting for him to respond. But we have a call. Caller, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
I want to start with congratulating you for calling, predicting exactly what has happened. Because when the arrest was made, I clearly remember you saying that this has another turn to it. And here we are now. In respect of Mr. Alexander, clearly he is just the tip of the spear. Because if we go back to the Attorney General's comment in Parliament, he was basically throwing Mr. Alexander into the fight then, you know. And I would expect that if Mr. Alexander is to go, then also the Attorney General should follow him, because he is more the person with the authority to push the knobs, you know. I would really like to hear what Mr. Griffith has to say when he comes on, because this thing is now starting. I have a lot of empathy for the 500 approximate people who are detained now and who might be a bit motivated to see that the situation would turn out to be better. But I'm not too hopeful about that, because this government has demonstrated that in circumstances like they are now, they are inclined to double down. So expect the Prime Minister to come out in a defiant mood, even though she doesn't have a leg to stand on. You know? I'll leave it there for the while.
Yeah. I have no doubt that is exactly what's going to happen. I don't know that anybody is going to be fired. People, I said this before. They're not going to fire anybody. They're going to ride this wave. Trust me. And try to convince us that something else going to happen? Because what they say, they're widening the scope of the investigation.
I don't know, Wendell. I don't know, Wendell, because we are still in a democracy, and the voice of the people still does matter. And there's a lot of
we ever talk, you know.
And there's still a lot of pushback too, even from UNC supporters, concerning and it's not only UNC supporters. I mean, across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of opinion has been following this story, and a lot of people have felt, just from me perusing social media, the vast majority of comments have always been in favor that they should be released, charge them or release them. That it was unfair to detain people for so long, and that hopefully, because they are more resourced than many, that they set the template for other people to be released. But anyway, we have Gary Griffith on, so let's move straight into that. Well, we had Gary Griffith on. Good morning, Gary Griffith.
This is top of the line. I get from Rattans.
I don't know why it looks so. It looked like when it washed, the two colors were mixed. Anyway, morning, Gary. Thanks for joining.
Morning.
What's your overview on what has happened yesterday? You could give us your overview on that.
Well, you know, a lot of people are speaking. Good morning, all. A lot of people are speaking about the concerns about the politicians, the actions, but they're not speaking about the other issue. We are coming close to the attempted coup anniversary. The Commission of Inquiry into the attempted coup stated that the biggest flaw that took place that caused 1990 to take place was because of lack of proper intelligence gathering to be accumulated properly to ensure good operations. These 37 years later, the same thing is happening now. As I said, the National Operations Center is used as a dispatch system. If it is that you could have intelligence in a country and you cannot turn that intelligence into evidence on a matter of such serious concern that you're so sure that there's a plan to assassinate a prime minister, the director of the SSA should be fired immediately. And guess what? I am going to give you all this shirt if any of you all could call the name of the director of the SSA. Everybody knew Rishmi Ramnarai when she lasted a day, you know. Everybody knew Colonel Robinson. Everybody knew Roger Best. This person is in charge of the SSA, which is like the equivalent of the CIA in this country, and nobody knows the name of this person. It's so undercover. So it means that obviously the SSA, which is the hub for intelligence, and the Commissioner's Office would have provided intelligence to the minister that was not so accurate or not had such a foundation to lay it into evidence. If you can't take intelligence of an assassination plot to kill a prime minister to turn into evidence, but you're sure that it happened, it means you have failed. And the director of the SSA and the commissioner of police should also tender their resignation. And let me add, this is not about anything with the UNC, because the same thing happened, I recall, with the PNM when Amory Brown and Fitzgerald Hines went and did a press conference and said the United States have blacklisted SWORD. And it was a lie, because the intelligence agencies sent false information to the United States to tell the United States that SWORD was involved in extrajudicial killing, when not one SWORD officer has ever been charged for such. And therein lies the problem. When false information comes to intelligence, cannot be turned to evidence. And another point to note, do you all recall Roger Alexander making a comment a few months ago to say that he intends to meet with the United States to revoke visas of persons opposed to this government?
Yes.
Let's go back now. Is it that there's a link now that the same comment made by Roger Alexander was used either by his office or the SSA to give to the US to say, hey, Bim and Bam planning to kill Kamala. The US will now be forced to automatically revoke the visas of these persons. So it means that this has international repercussions now, because it means that our national security apparatus, the state, has given false, misleading, or weak information to another country to take away the rights of citizens to travel to that country because of false information. So this here is not just a small issue. This has international repercussions of Trinidad and Tobago probably sending false information to one of our international allies.
You know, I didn't think that.
I'm not disputing what you said there, Gary, but just as a clarifying point, when he said that, the U.S. Embassy did retort and did put out a press release indicating that nobody can direct them to take away anybody's visa. That's completely under the remit of the U.S. government. So it was a kind of like a buff to the Minister of Homeland Security. That's right. Like how we interpreted it. But I'm not disputing that what you said there.
As a security advisor, commissioner, and a minister, I could assure you, if Jamaica sends a document to me to state that Mr. Bam 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 is involved in drug trafficking or money laundering, I am going to have him blacklisted. As much as I will say that nobody could influence me. If intelligence, so what the US said is you're
So it's better to be safe than sorry.
That's right. So if what the US was trying to say is you can't influence us. However, if your country's equivalent to the CIA sends a report to me to say that these people intend to kill a prime minister, you can't influence me to do it, but it is going to cause me to earn the side of caution because you might want to do it to Trump. And that is my point. So the United States buffed him. But if you get a report to state that these individuals are planning to kill Kamala, by right, the United States is forced now to act in the interest of the United States. And that is my point.
Yeah, I didn't think of that before, Gary. But you might be right, because we learned after the fact that certain people's visas were in fact revoked.
Correct.
We learned that after the fact.
And it can't be coincidental that it's the same Hadiths whose visas were revoked, and it's the same Hadiths who have been accused of trying to kill a prime minister. So based on intelligence. So is it that this intelligence agency, whether it's the SSA, whether it's the Commissioner's Office, whether it's Roger Alexander's office, that some document was sent to the United States stating that our intelligence reveals so and so and so. And the United States, by right, they are not, if you is that I do not know that your intelligence agency is incompetent or stupid or politically manipulated. I would know. I have to earn the side of caution. So I will revoke all visas of persons if your intelligence agency says that you are a potential killer.
Yeah. I think it's that serious. I think you may be very right about that. How that played out.
Yeah, and which means now that you have now embarrassed the United States government. Just again, before people jump on the bandwagon, oh look, you see Gary is a PNM. Amory Brown and Fitzgerald Hines did the same thing. They did a press conference boasting about the special operation response team put an end to, as I said, home invasion. 12 successful kidnappings. They rescued the kidnapped victims. They put an end to extortion. They were instrumental in pegging back criminals, dealing with human trafficking, dealing with child prostitution. And the PNM government, they sent fake information to the US about SORT. Not one person was ever charged or arrested by SORT for extrajudicial killing. But Amory Brown and Fitzgerald Hines did a press conference. So before people feel like jumping on Zap, Gary's a PNM. No, both governments need to be very careful. They have made you submitting false information based on fake news to our international allies, and you're embarrassing them. You need to be very careful and do not use your intelligence agencies as a political tool.
Yeah. Gary, if you were once, of course, part of the People's Partnership and pretty high up in it. How is this decision, and how, of course, the pushback now from citizens and how they received it, and basically looking at it like basically pie in the face of the current administration in terms of how it handled this entire situation. In terms of, if you had to hazard a guess, how are they receiving it in terms of the management clique of the government? Would they be embarrassed? Will they be saying, let's double down? What do you think is going on?
Well, remember, the good thing, I have deep inside information of the UNC. Anything that they do, I know. And instead of them looking and sitting and saying, look, we made a mistake. Somebody needs to be the fall guy. Instead, last night at 8 p.m., messages were sent out en masse to all the social media people that were paid the $50,000, inclusive of somebody who runs a show on mornings, to try to say, let us go with but what about? Because they cannot answer this question.
But some of them in the chat this morning doing the same thing.
But that is what they do. Anytime it is that this government has something where they cannot answer, they go with the what about theory. So, but what about Paria? But what about Jack Warner? But what about Brent Thomas? That is why the PNM will remove you clowns. That is why they will remove. Do not just deal with this present issue. And the PNM, by the way, again, did the same thing for 10 years. But what about Rishmi? But what about the OPP? But what about Section 34? We cannot get our government to deal with your issues now. So what you do, you get, and it's led by Philip Alexander and others. Every time there's an issue of national concern, you cannot answer the question. You get put in a corner. So your first thing is, but what about? So messages were sent to all the social media persons who are now paid political prostitutes. Go out there, attack Gary for what it is he said. Attack this one. And let's go with it. But what about Paria? But what about Jack Warner? That is not going to deflect from what is happening now. What is happening now is a matter of serious concern. The constitutional rights of citizens have been infringed based on false, misleading, or probably fake intelligence gathering. And because of you failing to take intelligence and turn it into evidence, it means that our national security apparatus, as it pertains to intelligence gathering, has failed miserably. So you cannot be given, Prime Minister, given a commissioner an A grade that somebody is trying to kill you. He has that information and you can't turn that intelligence into evidence. The ball has been dropped miserably. It shows that our national security apparatus, as it pertains to intelligence gathering, has failed. It shows that because, and again, let me quickly add this thing about the medical report. The medical report, Roger Alexander, was 3 weeks ago. They made the request about this medical report. So don't come with stupidness now to say that is your reason. It wasn't because of the medical report. It was because of the Privy Council ruling yesterday that said, hey, you're passing out a place to rush us. Don't rush us because of the stupidity that you did. That is what was the reason. It had nothing to do with a medical report. So to the UNC puppets who want to try to use that as the reason, 3 weeks ago, the attorneys from the Hadid said it was medical, and they said, we don't care, stay in jail. Remember that? So yes. they went and they appealed. So Roger Alexander, don't come with that stupidness. So there is a concern, the ball has been dropped, and it goes right back to, I was the only person kept stating, only in a banana republic, only in a police state, only in a dictatorial country can a politician have sole authority to take away your right of freedom without charges being laid and without evidence. That cannot happen. This is totally unacceptable. And I really hope that people take away their lens of politics to understand the ball has been dropped, the law is flawed. When you have a law that could allow a minister to arrest a prime minister or a commissioner, something is wrong.
Yeah, but I don't think we have ever had a worse example as this one. I mean, this is beyond the politics, and it's probably a good thing that it was done in this way with people who have good financial means to expose this nonsense that has happened. This is I don't know if people realize how serious this is for the country. You know, that people who have been accused of conspiring to kill a prime minister and the government ministers were detained under PDOs without charge. The people who they were alleged to be conspiring with were never detained. They've been outside there going about their normal lives. And now you are forced to free them, and as you rightly said, it may very well have to do with the ruling of the Privy Council and the fact that their own council, King's Council, may have advised them, hey, you're going to lose this matter, you know. Yeah. And this is not going to look good, you know. You understand? I don't think we have ever got to a worse situation.
And again, in any developed country, the minister will do the honorable thing. I remember, gentlemen, with the Rishmi situation, I was a national security advisor. And when the Rishmi thing took place, I never knew about it until I read about it. Nobody asked me for advice. And you know the first thing I did? Tendered my resignation. Because that's how I was trained from Sandhurst. And the Prime Minister said, but Gary, you weren't even involved in it. I said, well, Prime Minister, that doesn't matter. I am your national security advisor. A mistake was made. I have to accept responsibility even though I wasn't involved. That is the type of professionalism and leadership we don't have in this country. If I was a minister and I got intelligence like this and I made a decision like that to incarcerate persons for a month, and now you realize that the intelligence was flawed, that you don't have evidence to lay charges, I will do the honorable thing and resign. But some people like Roger Alexander never thought in their life they could even see the office of the minister to have a meeting. So to them, it's like, and that's where too many politicians on both sides of the fence, they never thought they could reach somewhere. And with the nice thing with me, I didn't need a job. I will say and do what is right. We need to start getting politicians that are prepared to do the right thing, to do the honorable thing. And in this situation, Roger Alexander should do the honorable thing and resign.
Yep.
You know, one of the things that the Privy Council said, and somebody had just sent me this, the Privy Council would have said that, which we kind of referenced earlier in the conversation, Wendell, this morning, and the direct quote from the Privy Council was, your lack of understanding does not constitute an emergency on our part, which is as buffing as the Privy Council can get in terms of admonishing you. Let me repeat what they said. Your lack of understanding does not constitute an emergency on our part. And what the person is suggesting is that the CJ, the Chief Justice, and that second panel of appeal court judges that gave leave to appeal to the Privy Council should feel a little embarrassed about that decision.
Yes.
Because of how the Privy Council has said, but you obviously don't understand our process, that you think that you can hurry us up and on the basis of what you presented to us.
Gentlemen, let me tell you something. In every position in this country, there's measurement of performance. And if people are, if it is you look and realize that these people are doing something wrong, I could fire you. It doesn't happen with judges in this country, We have never, I would challenge, let us go to appeal court. The number of times people in the appeal court, certain judges, and when I listen to some of them, I cannot believe these people are judges. They are clueless. And then when people could afford to go to the Privy Council and they win, they get back the money and the taxpayers have to pay for it. But there's not a measurement to say this judge on 7 occasions, his ruling was overturned. That shows the man is a failure, he or she. I have this situation right now with the audit. We have an appeal court that decided to say that the audit committee has a right to have submitted a document to a prime minister without my signature, without my knowledge, without speaking to me under natural justice, and it is okay for it to go forward. They just have to call me back in. The Privy Council will do the same thing, but these 3 judges had the audacity to say, well, no, nothing is wrong with somebody doing an audit about a company and the person in charge of the company who's being accused. We don't have to speak to you. We give it to Rowley for him to go to Parliament. And then when the person appeals, the appeals court say, well, yeah, all right, well, you could just go and meet with them now, but we'll continue the audit. The audit has now been poisoned, but these are judges. Where did they train? Where did they come from to understand the law? And this is the same situation. The judges who made this decision, they're going to the Privy Council, and the King's Council, the persons would have probably advised the state's attorneys, you all have to be crazy. The decision you are making, you are going to be embarrassed. And the Privy Council has made a ruling. And what this government has done is take front before front takes them. They realize the damage, so they have now turned back to try to justify it based on a medical report. It could never be a medical report. 3 weeks ago, the attorneys for the Haddies kept speaking medical, and the state said, we don't care. You could virtually dead. We don't care. That's virtually what it is. They said, we don't care about your medical concerns. So how come for 3 weeks they didn't care, but all of a sudden you coincidentally care now as the Privy Council slap you and say, you're clown, you don't even understand your own law?
Yeah. I don't know. I still am concerned because me, I have a mind that works overtime sometimes.
Yes, it does. You do. And that goes down the conspiracy theory rabbit holes. Yes, you do.
No, but I've given you a real story. I gave it already this morning. I'm going to give it to Gary too. Danny Guerra was alleged to have been accused of threatening a government minister. He was arrested under a PDO. He stayed in that PDO until the state of emergency came to an end. And as soon as he was released, he was murdered.
Wendell, you left one part out. The same morning when they contacted the Minister of Homeland Security and that, his comments, it's a great day today. It's a great day. No. This was Roger Alexander. No. Roger Alexander, when asked about the situation with Guerra being shot, his quotes or words to that effect, it is a lovely day today. It is a great day today. This was quotation by the Minister of Homeland Security, who's responsible for 20,000 persons, most of them with firearms. You have a minister.
I can't forget that. Sorry, I can't forget that. I don't trust these people.
Yep. So
never will.
I mean, if I was a security advisor to the Haddies, I will specifically and recommend to them they need to, because if their passports have been returned, they should travel outside. Well, they can't go USA because the visas were revoked because of failed information. I would strongly advise they need to step outside of this country until the SOE has ended. That's my personal view, based exactly on what you just said.
Yeah, and what I said is what actually happened.
Correct. Yep.
You all are going down a road that I'm not comfortable with. But just putting that out there.
Right.
Yeah, but so you think, do you think that there are going to be actually any repercussions at all, Gary, with regard to this? Do you think that, for example, Roger Alexander will resign or be fired? Do you think the Commissioner of Police may resign or be fired? And do you think the SSA director may be fired or resign? Do you think anything like that is going to happen, or it's just going to continue?
No, because all 3 persons are holding a position that they never thought that they could hold. I go back. Remember, this Commissioner of Police, I don't think he got, for the exams from superintendent to senior soup, I don't think he got any top 30. So if you can't get any top 30 from superintendent to senior soup, but they make you a commissioner over people who are senior soup, ACPs, DCPs, It shows obviously something has gone wrong. So when you get a position like that you never expected, you're going to hold on to it for dear life. Roger Alexander was in charge of a talk show. The most he ever was in charge was about 10 persons. He had a budget of $100. Now you give him a $6 billion budget in charge of 20,000 people. You think he's going to give this up like that? It's never see come see. The person who's the director of the SSA, people don't even know. We don't even know what qualification she has. So when
you don't think there's going to be any? So you don't think there's going to be any repercussions?
There's not going to be any honorable resignation because these people are never see come see. They never thought they could hold the position.
Do you think anybody will be fired?
Well, it should be because knowing Kamala Prasad says in 2010 to 2015, a man touched a nipple, he get fired. A next one didn't want to do a DIU, he get fired. A next one argued with his girlfriend in Grand Bazaar, he get fired. Remember? You sneeze too hard, you will get fired.
I didn't know about the nipple thing though.
Yes, Wendell.
Wendell.
Yes.
On Caribbean Airlines.
I don't remember the nipple one.
The Caribbean Airlines, the flight attendant.
I remember one who said, "Was that in your pants there?"
No, there
was a reference to that. But Gary,
okay, I now remember. But it's not that he got fired for. He got fired for some other thing, something else.
Do you think the Prime Minister is going to fire the Homeland Security Minister?
Well, I don't think so because you have a commissioner of police who has not come up with one crime plan. He has not said anything. Public trust and confidence is at its lowest. You have all he could do is call a state of emergency because of his inability to deal with crime, and she gave him an A grade. So imagine that. So if that is her standard now, I can't see her deciding that something of this magnitude she will fire the minister, but somebody has to take the fall for this because the taxpayers are going to pay. And to hear Stephen Rees from Synergy jumping up, but what about Jack Warner, but what about this, but what about that? We cannot be so blinded by politics, whether it is you're being paid, whether it is you're just a puppet. You have to be honest and about yourself to realize something has gone wrong. And this is not about PNM or UNC, as I said. In 2030, the people who are now happy for this and don't care, in 2030, imagine if it is somebody, let's just say Fitzgerald Hines becomes director of the SSA, and he decides to get a director of the SSA could put any document, type it out, and call it a report. And it is so bad. Remember the whole police service commission resigned in disgust because a retired police officer wrote a document, put it on a piece of paper, wrote secret, littered with lies, give it to our prime minister, and he took that to the president's house to use as a post office to call in a police service commission chairman to try to remove a merit list. That is how intelligence could work. In other words, intelligence could be hearsay, rumshop talk, gossip. Once you get that paper, that is my justification. For Roger Alexander to have used this as an avenue to take away persons' freedom without enough evidence. And then he had the audacity to mislead the country. I remember he said clearly, it doesn't go like him. They have to go through the lawyers and they have to sift the documents. He's so clueless. Lawyers have nothing to do with intelligence gathering. Intelligence gathering is data that is accumulated from information to turn into intelligence. If it is enough, it goes to evidence. Failure to go from the threshold of intelligence to evidence means you cannot lay charges, which means that you should not incarcerate persons or try to take away their freedom based on intelligence. And that is what was done. It was wrong. It was unacceptable. So whether you're PNM or UNC, it is something that must never take place in this country again.
That's why we can end the conversation this morning because we have to go to our news. We are pretty late. Your special guest that we will take you so far past 8 o'clock, Gary Griffith. And usually we would ended way before that. So thank you so much for your input. Always interesting as usual.
Yeah, and my outfit. I love it.
Thanks, guy. Take care.
All right, now 8 o'clock news is next, even though it's 8:15.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on Net Radio and Guile TV. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. Businessman Dominic Hadid and his wife Genevieve are to be released from detention after Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander revoked the preventive detention orders issued against them during the state of emergency. Alexander said the decision followed a review of all the circumstances, including a recommendation by the review tribunal that their continued detention was not necessary or expedient in the public interest. He also considered a medical report concerning Dominic Hadid and the Privy Council's refusal to expedite the state's substantive appeal. The Hadids were detained since June 24th in connection with an investigation into an alleged plot to assassinate Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesar and senior government officials. Alexander stressed that the criminal investigation remains ongoing and that the couple will remain under monitoring and surveillance by the TTPS after their release. The opposition is calling for the resignation of the Attorney General, the Minister of Homeland Security, and the Commissioner of Police, following the revocation of the preventive detention orders issued against Dominic and Genevieve Hadid. PNM Chief Whip Marvin Gonzalez said the decision justified calls for a full investigation into the state's use of preventive detention orders during the state of emergency. He claimed the government had no evidence to support allegations of threats against the Prime Minister and other officials, and warned taxpayers could face compensation claims. Former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith also called for Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander to be fired, describing the handling of the Hadid's detention as total incompetence. Griffith argued that if the intelligence had been credible, it should have led to criminal charges. Alexander revoked the detention orders earlier yesterday, but said the criminal investigation remains ongoing. The Indian High Commission has rescheduled its Indian Diaspora Day event from August 1st to August 8th, after public backlash over the decision to hold it on Emancipation Day. Former Tourism Minister Randall Mitchell criticized the move and wrote to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, calling for a review of the conduct of India's High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Pradeep Singh Rajpurohit. Mitchell said African Emancipation Day is not just a public holiday, but a solemn national observance marking the abolition of slavery and honoring the struggle of enslaved Africans. The controversy intensified after the High Commission described the change as being in view of August 1st being a public holiday, prompting accusations of cultural insensitivity and disrespect in Trinidad and Tobago's multicultural society. A second body has been recovered after a migrant boat overturned off Los Iros Beach in Erin. Police said the body of an adult male was found near the shoreline on Thursday, a day after the body of a 5-year-old girl washed ashore. Investigators believe the overloaded pirogue, carrying about 20 to 30 Venezuelan nationals and cargo, had left Trinidad and Tobago bound for Venezuela when it reportedly developed engine problems. Police said the vessel struck rocks near Los Iros at about 1 p.m., throwing passengers into the sea before survivors managed to get back aboard and continue the journey. Search teams also recovered luggage along the shoreline, while police and Coast Guard officers continue searching for 2 adults who remain missing. The death toll from Guyana's MV Barima ferry disaster has risen to 65, as Trinidad and Tobago and Brazil joined regional search and recovery efforts. Guyana Prime Minister Mark Phillips said Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard and Brazilian naval personnel are assisting with diving and recovery operations, while 19 vessels and 3 aircraft continue the search for missing passengers. 5 more bodies were recovered yesterday, bringing the number rescued to 76. Authorities are preparing to refloat the capsized ferry using marine salvage airbags before towing it closer to shore to continue the operation. Phillips said the government's immediate focus is supporting grieving families and recovering victims. He confirmed that a commission of inquiry will be launched to determine the cause of the tragedy and whether anyone should be held accountable. Guyana has declared 3 days of national mourning. Finally, former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, will go on trial in the United States on June 1st next year on drug trafficking charges. The couple, who have pleaded not guilty, have been held in New York since being captured by U.S. forces in Venezuela in January. Prosecutors allege they conspired to traffic thousands of tons of cocaine into the United States and could face life imprisonment if convicted. At a brief court hearing yesterday, the judge set the trial date and scheduled pre-trial legal arguments for November. Maduro's lawyers say they will challenge the indictment, arguing he is protected by sovereign immunity and that his capture by U.S. forces was unlawful. And that is Net Radio News at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with new Era TT Radio. Net Radio.
Calling all you Net Radio listeners and fans. It's time to pack your cooler, gather your crews. Join us on Net Radio. Halloween Cooler Crew in red, white, and black. On board the luxurious Island Royalty, Saturday, 15th of August, boarding at 7 p.m. from Hardcuts, Shagaramas. We sail at 8 p.m. sharp. Enjoy great music all night long from your favorite net DJs, Sir Charles, CJ, Mr. Flavor, Doc International, RJ, and Fluffman.
Tell you you's a big dancer. Come show
Early
them you's a
bird
big
tickets
dancer.
are just $200, after $250. Get your tickets now at Crosby in St. James, Rumba, St. James, Bobby's Bar in Kure, Bats International in Arima, K Square Fashions at C3 Center, West Mall, and Eastgate Small, and all net DJs. No glass bottles allowed. Bring your coolers, bring your crews, and let's celebrate together. Net Radio, Halloween Cooler Crew, Saturday, August the 15th, aboard the Island Royalty. For information, call 638-2609 or 497-7173. Halloween on the scene.
Flavor Entertainment Services, your one-stop premium entertainment service provider. We offer top-tier, best-in-class karaoke and DJ services for your private events, sports bars and lounge. Let us help make your birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, and corporate special events memorable and special. Call us now at 462-2029. We provide more than just music. We create memories that last.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
All right, we are back.
Yes, we are.
All right, well, look at that. You're not echoing, I'm not echoing.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll only know what happened when Richard comes in.
Yeah,
But-
we'll see what happens when
Yeah.
when Richard comes back inside. All right, people. So we welcome you back inside of the the third hour.
Yeah, we're nearly done.
Yeah, we almost finished, but we're glad to have you here on the breakfast show. Just a couple of things to let you know. One being is that we have our cooler cruise. Well, let's see if we can pull up Hillary thing in the meantime. Yeah. So we have.
We will come on next week and talk about our stuff.
Yeah. So we have the cooler cruise coming up, and remember, it's happening on the 15th of August, and we're asking you to come out and support us. Come and support Net Radio. Come on and have a really good time on board the Island Royalty. We are boarding at 7 p.m. and we will sail at 8 p.m. We should be back by about midnight, fellas don't waste time. When they say 12, regardless if you go out late, they're coming back 12. So that is it. So get your tickets. Make sure you pack your coolers. Remember, no glass bottles are allowed. So everything has to be plastic. So you can pass by Rum Box. Get your tickets, and also you can but you have to get your tickets earlier. So get your tickets, go pick up your ticket on the day when you're going down, you'll pass by Rumbox and stack up your cooler and stuff, right? But you can pick up those tickets at Rumbox, Crosby's in St. James, also at Bobby's Bar in Currap, Fats International Arima, and the folks at K Squared Fashions, they are at Eastgate, West Mall, and C3 Center. Right now, the tickets are just $200. After that, it's $250. But pick them up, and if you're not coming on the cruise, still buy a ticket and support us here on the night, because every time you buy a ticket, you support us, right? It's very important. All right.
I want to touch on something quickly, Sir Charles. As I say, thanks for all the people who would have commented on our chat this morning. Lots of comments on all manner of issues, either for or against, But the issue of PNM had a meeting last night. Of course, this meeting was called prior to this situation yesterday, right? PNM would have called a meeting in defense of Balizi House at Balizi House, right? I didn't go to the meeting because, well, I generally don't come into town on a Tuesday and a Thursday. But I watched the meeting for the most part last night. And I don't know if I fell asleep during the time that they actually defended Balizi House, that they actually say, well, this is how we came about Balizi House. This is how we raised funds over the years. Members would have contributed through the legislative group every month, regardless of whether you are a local government official, a senator, a member of parliament. I don't know that I heard that. I don't know that I heard that we had a raffle, a very successful BMW 3-car raffle, 3 BMWs. I was part of that because I was on a truck up and down this country during that time, advertising those cars. Those cars, the 3 cars were on 3 separate flatbed, and I was on a next big truck advertising that raffle. I don't know if they said all of that. I don't know if they spoke about all the different contributions, all the different issues over. Maybe I missed that, but all I heard was take your hands and touch. Don't touch. You touch one, you touch all. Leave your hands off Bali. I don't know that a case was made for how the funds were raised for the renovations of Bali's house. It was,
Wendell.
Zutius was saying it was said and identified, so I missed it. So my apologies.
Am I echoing?
You are. So it switched to you now.
So
Let me take off my mic. Oh, so Charles will have to mute his.
Because myself coming back.
Yeah, yes. I'm here.
So that problem still exists, whatever it is.
All right, go ahead. I'm not hearing it again.
But Wendell, I watched some of that meeting yesterday in defense of democracy, and it was a call out in the defense of democracy, etc., etc., etc. And obviously, and remember when Marvin Gonzalez was here, I asked him a particular question, which was, if you are saying it's in defense of democracy, etc., etc., and you're taking a particular slant in terms of the voices of dissent against the way that this government may be operating, and you may disagree with it. And if you will in a disagreement, the PNM has always made it a point of going it alone, and whether in fact they would include other voices. And so it becomes more a collection of people in terms of opposition, in terms of some strong opposition to some of the MO in how this government is operating, and whether they will consider that. And he said, well, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he kind of danced through it, that, it would be something that they would consider, blah, blah, blah. And he was of a he expressed his personal opinion on it, right? Because I know the PNM has a very long-established tradition of we go in it alone. We win alone, we lose alone. Basically, that's what they say. Last night, of course, they had this in defense of democracy, and it was a clarion call to all citizens across Trinidad and Tobago. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
You are right.
But the substance of what I heard on stage from the times that I listened to at different speakers were not speaking to the wider audience of Trinidad and Tobago, who would not have been there because it was a YouTube video I was watching. It was still speaking to a very PNM-centric crowd. So nobody articulated, in my opinion, this is my opinion, nobody articulated on that platform in a clear and resonant way that spoke as if you were speaking to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and not the PNM faithful. And so for me, it was a lost opportunity for the opposition, if that's the road that you were going on, to include people who were not PNM people, but who had real issues in terms of some of the decisions of this government. Because they kept it very PNM centric, as they have always done. But if it is that you want to be, to me, it was a missed opportunity, because if you wanted to rise above and take the high ground that, look, democracy is under threat, because that was part of the messaging that you got last night. But it was always articulated within the very closed box frame of the PNM, and coming back to your character Jabali's house, which I know is one of the talking points, right? But and I felt they missed that opportunity. That's one. And I felt all of the speakers did themselves a disservice by constantly referring to notes, either on an electronic device, like a mobile device, or actual paper. Nobody spoke off the cuff, like how now let me clarify that. There were points at which people yeah, but what was he talking about exactly? And what did he speak about exactly?
Well, he did the welcome, but he expounded a little bit on the politics and of course local government. He will talk
and about the discrimination against PNM cities and boroughs, basically, right?
Yes.
So okay, so so let me take him out of the equation. The other people, sometimes they spoke off the cuff when they got very passionate about certain things, but a lot of times they were referring to this notes. They were not like Dr. Rowley or Patrick Manning, who have a certain oratorial skill in terms of how they can.
We don't have that again. Maybe Stuart Young, but we don't have outside of Stuart. I don't know that we have that again.
Okay, because I didn't see that last, and then I was, why is everybody referring to notes? Why is everybody referring to notes? But beyond all of that, and sometimes they refer to notes, and because when you refer to notes, unless you're really skillful, it takes away from some of your passion and takes away from some of the resonance in terms of how the message translates. At least that's my opinion. And people may be free to disagree. Some people may find it was wonderful.
The guy from the Youth League was pretty good, I thought. He was pretty good. And Marvin Gonzalez, I thought, was okay too, and especially how he ended.
Well, he was referring to notes too, and then he set the thing on fire at the end and all of that. And I thought he made some good references to the record. He was obviously going on the record of the Attorney General. And so he was making comparisons to that. So yeah, but and he was passionate, I'll give him that. But still that kind of oratorial style where you kind of look and engage with the audience. And what I think the PNM has not gotten out of the mindset yet is that sometimes you have an opportunity to speak to 1.4 million people. Stop speaking to the 150,000 who are your hardcore supporters.
Yeah. You get, sometimes you plan a certain thing, and then when you seek a crowd, because apparently the crowd looked huge, you understand? Because I did tell Marvin earlier in the day, well, you're gonna get a sellout crowd now that this decision has been taken to free their deeds, because more people will come out expecting to hear the PNM's position on that. But as I said, I thought that outlining the issues surrounding Bali's house was missing, but somebody tell me that it happened. So maybe that's when I fall asleep, because I fall asleep and get back up plenty. Because I sad, because some of them were just downright.
But to me, if it is that you want to attract the voters who may not traditionally vote for you, or may vote for you when they want to vote out somebody, you had an opportunity, because of how you sold it, to be more inclusive about the fundamentals of what you're talking about. If you're taking the democracy slant, and if you're saying that there's a threat to our democracy, you had a responsibility to lay it out in a way that was not necessarily partisan to the PNM faithful.
Yeah.
That's was my basic point.
Yeah. But in all, it seemed to be been a pretty successful meeting, a good meeting. So, but the PNM needs to do, I don't know if they need to do more of this, but now this government is not just on the back foot, but this government skating on the behind right now. They need to go on the offensive.
Are they really skating on the behind?
Yes, Richard. Richard, what happened yesterday would have brought down most governments, Has the potential of bringing down a government, What happened yesterday, That's a national security nightmare, Richard. All the other countries would be saying, but wait, there's not the same two people that just threatened to kill the prime minister and the government that they had to let go without charge. Other countries would be watching that in awe, Richard. And saying, what the hell, how that government still in power? They should go back for a fresh mandate. Oh, Ms. Henry, thanks for reminding me. In the middle of the meeting, in the PNM meeting, what I could hear is that if your cars or a warning, or if you park on Stanmore Avenue, go and move your car records. I say, what the hell are you hearing?
Yeah.
In the city?
Yep, I heard that.
The mayor and the council right there? And you reckon cars in my city whilst a meeting going on? Nah, man. I listen to that and I'm saying, what madness I hear in here? What madness?
I found that curious too. And then I said, well, maybe that's how Chinua Alliance operates.
Well, I know he would say he have no control, but you take responsibility for that, reckon. I warned him, do not stay out of that.
Of course the mayor has control, Wendell, because the mayor is the one who reinstated it.
Yes, I warned him to stay out of that. So you were listening to a PNM meeting last night and they're telling you, go and check your car.
Because cars were being wrecked on Stanmore. Yeah.
Yes.
Go and check your car. And they said it several times, eh?
Yes, including Hans, who I thought was screaming last night. I sent a message also. I said, Hans, you're screaming. You're not a DJ on radio today. You're a politician chair.
I find all of them were kind of shouting on a certain level.
Hans in particular was screaming. Hans
except Penelope Beckles-Robinson.
But she can't scream. She can't.
So maybe she's incapable of doing that.
She's incapable of shouting.
But yeah. And she I felt, I'm just looking at it from an analytical point of view, Wendell, sorry, but I felt Penelope Beckles didn't come across strong enough in terms of what she was trying to say. And I think, and she was another one too, like most, who was referring to notes. And I think that she maybe needs, I don't know, a coach of how you deliver that before media, and to be even more resonant in terms of the messaging. If I had to be critical, of course people may disagree with me, but that's because when presidents and people making speeches in the United States, it have all kind of coaches talking to you and saying, emphasize this, do this, don't do that, do this, do that. And if it doesn't come naturally to you, because with somebody like Obama, who has a natural oratorial style, it comes easily. President Trump too, he has a natural style. You may not, you may or like him or dislike him, but he has a style in terms of how he engages an audience, right? So he has his own style. But otherwise, it's something that you have to look at in terms of your body language, in terms of what you see, inflections. Because when you're in politics, you're in the business of persuasion. That's the business you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you have to,
I don't know
so you have to be mindful. I think so. I think she can.
I don't know. We've raised this. You know what she reminded me of last night when the Tobago House of Assembly elections, back when this lady was in charge now. She was being touted as the next head of the THA. What's her name again? Oh goodness.
Dr. Faith?
No. For the PNM. Remember when they had put her as leader and a lot of PNM didn't like it. What was her name again? Thomas Celestin? Something Celestin?
Hey. I can't remember who that is.
Somebody said me her name now. And she, after all the speakers, she came on to, of course, the leader, the potential leader is the one who ends the meeting. And I see people start to walk out the meeting in Shore Party there, you know. Because she was just not holding anybody's interest in that meeting. You know? Oh, why is her name not... No, not Champa Kojo, I'm sure. Oh, goodness.
Tracy something.
Tracy Davidson Celestine. I know, once you say the first name, I know I'll get the rest. Tracy Davidson Celestine. That's her name. Thanks to Lenley Sue. She just could not move anybody. And I think Penny is of that ilk too. She just does not move anybody. She's the leader.
I think I know I've seen speeches where I felt she was, she resonated. So maybe last night was just a bad night. I'm just, as I say, this is my opinion. I can only give my opinion. Some people who may have been there may have said, "Oh my God, she was fantastic," which I will take with a big pong of salt. But for me, watching on the YouTube video, I was like maybe she needs to watch that YouTube video. Maybe look at your performance and analyze. Well, okay, maybe I should have been a little stronger here. My body language here, my intonations, and what I inflected on, because all of those things matter. And some people have it naturally that they can naturally engage you when they speak. But some don't, and some have to work on it. So I think she's like midway.
Richard, I know Penelope Beckles a long time now. I lime around already. We play cards together. Her character is not loud. It's not controversial.
I'm not talking about being loud or controversial.
No, but I'm saying that will inform how you put over certain issues. She's just not like that. I don't know if Penny's even use obscene language. I know them other leaders, Stuart Young could discuss, Dr. Rowley discuss. I know that, and to me, maybe that is what is needed sometimes. That kind of brash, and I don't think she's like that. I don't think you'll ever get that from her.
But I don't think that is necessary to resonate. Let me put it that way. I think what you have to say and how you say it can be powerful, even though you are not a brash and loud speaker. And I don't think that she's incapable of doing that.
I'm just saying, Richard, maybe the country needs, after the last set of leaders we've had, maybe the country needs somebody like Penelope Beckles Robinson, who you're not going to get any shouting from, or any threatening words like what happening.
Yeah, but you can't rest on that alone. You have to still be able to resonate, because the PNM needs the non-PNM people to vote with them.
True.
And you need to not have them apathetic.
True. But maybe, as I say, if Penny holds on to leadership, I think she'll make certainly a different type of prime minister than we've had in the last 15 years, or the last, I should say, 20 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's the first representative from Arima that aspires to that post. So, me being an Arimian, I will not mind.
But a lot of people refer to her as the next prime minister, which is what you do with a leader, with your political leader anyway. Because I was seeing a debate on social media that's saying they shouldn't be doing that. Well, of course they have to do that. I don't think they have a choice. You know what I mean?
They have to do what?
Refer to your political leader as the next prime minister. But people are of course in private discussion saying, well, if the PNM had to get back in power, Penny, they had to get rid of Penny. I said that is not going to happen. So unless Penny decides for the betterment of the party and the country, she will step down. I don't see her losing. The PNM is going to stick with her. I don't see her losing in any battle right now. I don't see that happening. PNM is not made up that way to change a leader on the cusp of an election. They're not made up like that. Dr. Rowley tried it, and look at where it got the PNM. You understand?
Yeah.
They're not made up that way.
All right, guys, hold 1 minute.
Can we take?
Yeah, people, you can call us 281-1315-299-5156. So the lines are open to you.
All right. Well, you say, Andrew, you say PNM needs somebody like, they had somebody like Mr. Manning. They had Mr. Manning. But Mr. Manning had a way of preaching, eh? He had a preacher vibes, especially when he would use his hand. He used his hand a lot when he was talking. You understand? And Mr. Manning had a memory like an elephant. He and Dr. Rowley. Oh, God, them fellas could remember stuff. You know? So you can't compare. But Penny's just completely different. And as I say, I think as a prime minister, she might be what we need. But as a leader right now, you're right, Richard. She might need to reflect on certain ways she does things and says things. You know? So we'll see. We have a call, Sir Charles. Any calls coming in?
Actually, yeah, we have a call coming in now. It's now coming in. 281-1315-299-5156. Actually, a couple of them now start to come. Caller, good morning.
Hello, morning.
Hey, Mr. Patrick, how you doing?
Are you treating me so boy I can't get to your program?
Oh, Lord, it's nothing personal. Don't worry.
Personal. Watch yourself, sir. Don't take that as a threat, eh?
I know. I had to send people to pick you up.
Well, then, morning.
Morning,
Mr. Patrick. Morning. With all this thing going on, buddy, who going down and pay that big bill in the end, buddy?
You?
Government? Me?
Yes. You?
All of it? Because I know somebody going to get, I know somebody going to get some big money in this country. Wrongfully arrest, falsely imprisonment. Hey, Trinidad and Tobago people have to know what they're doing, but when they're locking up people, why? I might get locked up the other for 10 days and he went to make about $3 million, why?
For 10 days?
Hey, if remember the man long time, the police locked him up twice or nothing.
Okay, no, I can't remember exactly that.
Yeah. Go back. Men get real money for falsely locked up, boy. Falsely imprisonment, boy. Or don't lock up people for 30 days and they get charged, boy. Something wrong with Trinidad and Tobago government, boy. And the system and the law. I listened to Mr. Gary Griffith this morning. Gary was right. So the people lost the visa too, boy. Father. Anyhow, all you enjoy the day?
No problem, Mr. Patrick. Yeah, you enjoy your weekend too, man. Caller, good morning.
Morning. I wrote down the message from Wendell there with you all on the panel there. Hello?
Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking a question. Seeing as the PLM and the position they are in now, and they have to regroup and be all inclusive, even to the other supporters of the other party, in order to be collectively involved in the next government for the country. I asked the question, seeing as Mr. Rowley resigned as PNM, isn't he still a member of the PNM, and could he be called upon to give advice based on the topic that they were discussing with respect to who are powerful speakers and what have you? I was just asking that question to find out what you all think about that.
Well, it's a good idea, but I don't see any leader, current leader or leadership unit, because I hear some issues surrounding certain people in terms of when they should talk and how they should talk and whatnot. And if that is true, then PNM need to get their act together. And the kind of reference it on the platform last season that we all need to get together and so on and so on. And people made a great effort to knowledge other people, including Stuart Young, who was out of the country and whatnot. So, but they need to get their act together. But those are internal issues that will always happen in political parties. Just
okay.
Okay.
I hear you.
Yeah. All right, thanks very much, caller. Shaguanas, good morning.
Dr. Rowley need to take it easy and relax a bit. Forget this crazy politics.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shaguanas.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning to Wendell, Sir Charles, Richard.
Morning.
I listen this morning. Now, normally, what I do is that I just sit back and listen sometimes. Not everything I jump into, right? But I hope Gary Gifford was just being alarmist this morning, right? Because what he said there is not painting a pretty picture. Remember, we have people. We had top lawyers and who came on when it was the Joshua Samuel stuff and telling us the trust the process, trust the system, trust the process, and have confidence in the process, have confidence in the judiciary and all kind of stuff and like that. When the public was showing, listen, we lose all confidence, we need confidence in that and all this kind of thing happening, right? Are they still confident in the system, trusting the system? Should we still sit back and trust the system with what it is going on here? Right? The next thing, I don't feel the Homeland Security Minister will resign or anything. Remember how he was selected in the first place, right? The UNC kept turning up. We never hear about nobody else was screening for that position or going through the screening process. They just dropped that as a bombshell. We didn't know if he went through any screening or anything. And I don't know if the UNC people comfortable with that kind of approach. They just drop him on us, right? And so I don't feel he's going to resign, right? Something's up there, right? So that's just my comment. And the next thing with the PNM, as I say, I sit back. I don't have no horse in the race. I feel which party we want the country to go. UNC can carry us there. PNM can carry us there. Right? They have a chance to redeem themselves. And they get on like the 100 and something thousand people who didn't vote, right, for them in this election. They get on like those are members who just get dejected and so on. Those are supporters, people like me, I think, who didn't vote, right? Who didn't vote. And we're watching them to see if they continue on this trajectory. I feel like the end of them, like the end of the PNM, right? They're going on that same path. As you say, you have the opportunity now to talk to the masses of people, to let me see that, okay, it's a change, it's a turnaround, it's a different approach, right? And they can't go in and the same foolishness, right? So then we cannot be special time and locked on and listen. Thanks.
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. I can't disagree with him in terms of what he's saying, because I think the PNM keeps missing the opportunities to be an alternative view that's well and robustly articulated without always speaking to your PNM base. I get it that you have to speak to your PNM base at certain points, but at other points you have to speak to the country, because you're holding yourself to be the alternative. And sometimes they miss that boat.
But Richard, is a question of timing too, eh? Remember, politics is all about timing, eh? I mean, right now the PNM needs to rally their base, reunite their base.
Then do not have an ad that says rally for the democracy of the country.
Right, which is, I agree with you there.
PNM people, come out and support Balize House.
Right.
That's the ad you're supposed to put up.
So I agree with you on that aspect, right? If you rallying for a particular reason, and they had good reason yesterday, especially after the news broke earlier in the day, which is probably why the meeting was so well attended, you need to switch it up a bit. But remember, if everybody write the piece of paper, Richard, they ain't gonna write it over. You understand? But they need to,
why not?
You feel everybody could work this ChatGPT thing on?
It's not about ChatGPT. It's about what you feel passionate about. Once you have oratorial skill, the passion will come out, and you can speak off the cuff. And I'm saying I guess, yes, there would be talking points about, and I assume as a strategy session, they'll say these are what the basic talking points you want to come out this morning, or I mean last night. But I am just saying, for me, who is not an advocate for the UNC nor for the PNM, you know, I always, you know what my position, I am not for either of them. I'm for Trinidad and Tobago. And because, you know, I'm always looking how Trinidad and Tobago could be the best country on the planet. That's my bar. How we could be the best country on the planet to live. That is my bar. And beating everybody in all competitive indices. That is my bar. That's not the bar of politicians, obviously.
Yeah.
And I just felt that when I saw the ad that you're saying, because there are real issues in terms of some parts of the governance of the UNC government. There are real issues. I'm not saying everything is bad, because I think from the implementation point of view, I think they're doing some good stuff in getting certain things implemented. But there are certain other things that are also concerning. And your ad was towards that. But yet when I listened to it, I felt like, well, this meeting for people like me watching on, this is really for PNM faithful. But I will watch it because I need to talk about it from a radio talk show host perspective. That's why I listened to a lot of it. Not all of it, but a lot of it. You know, I kept skipping forward. For some speakers, I didn't really feel like hearing them, so I kind of skipped forward. For some, I wouldn't identify which ones. But ultimately, I was like, this is just a rallying of the base, as you are suggesting. And if that was what it was, then that's what you should have said it was.
No, well, I think, as I said, when they remember, you don't know how many people would come, and when you get that overwhelming support, you naturally want to rally to your base, and I think that's what happened. Now, I will tell you something, because back in the day, I was involved with the Public Meetings Committee and the Entertainment Committee under Jerry Race, and there used to be like a meeting of the heads before, or meeting of the strategy before, and a post-mortem after. I don't know if that's happening still. I doubt it. I don't think it is. You understand?
It should be. I mean, I want to believe it would still be happening. But Wendell, my point is, the crowd you are speaking to there is not the crowd that matters.
True.
And politicians can't be so simple-minded to think that the people in front of me right there is who I'm talking to. Them come in no matter what.
You're right, because
those are the same people. Those are the same people who like the 18 UNC seats, like you talk about.
Yes.
That is that group that's sitting out in front of you. You are also broadcasting on YouTube, where immeasurably more people are going to be likely to watch.
Yeah.
So understand your messaging. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Hopefully they would take this program today and reflect on it, on what we've said. You understand? Whether they say, I made me a time with Richard and Wendell now, them are their own agenda, and to hell with them. Or they would say, you know something, you know, they're making sense. You understand? I would send it for Marvin. I know Marvin would listen and watch and take information from it. I have sent things to Penelope Beckles Robinson either too, and she has responded, you know, in a how I should put, positive manner. So I'll even send it to her. Yeah, I'll try in my own way, but I'm telling you, I'm not too invested in it as I used to be. You understand? Whatever happen. You understand?
You must push up yourself. You might be the minister of local government eventually, and then you could put all of the mouth you have about local government, you could then action it.
You think?
I'll say, but hey, because you know, I'll be interviewing you, I'll say, Minister, you want a person who used to be on radio talking about X, Y, and Z? What is going on? Well, you know that there's something called budget, Richard, and the allocation that was given to the Ministry of Local Government this year does not allow me at this time to pursue what I think needs to be done. But it's never far from the back of my mind, and I will eventually get to my goal. It may take some time, but typical politician answer.
Richard, I'll be out of there so fast if I don't get my way.
And then he said, but Minister, you said that last year.
I'll be out of here so fast.
No such chance. You have to say, but Minister, you said that 3 years ago. Oh God. Yeah.
Anyway. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Be careful on the roads. Look out for the young ones, and remember to let go and let God.
It is the weekend. The weekend has begun, people. So put all of the stress of the world behind you and enjoy your weekend. Do things that bring you joy, whatever it is. It may be a walk around the Queen's Park Savannah. It may be a walk on a beach. It may be walking through a city street in Manhattan and shopping like your life away. Whatever it is that brings you joy, do it. And don't let planet Earth bother you too much. It's your break from planet Earth and all of its problems. And certainly the same too for people in Trinidad and Tobago. Enjoy your weekend. Put a smile on your face. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. The weekend has begun. And of course, netradiott.com is there with you throughout the weekend with the excellent programming, as well as you can listen on your smart devices at NETT Radio Trinidad, NETT Radio Trinidad on TuneIn. You can tell that to your smart devices just like how I said it, and you are good to go. We know you have a choice in what you watch and what you listen to, and we are so thankful you chose us.
Richard, don't forget to tell people to go and get your tickets for the cruise.
Yes, the August is right there, people. We are knocking on the doors of August, and it is on the 15th of August. You are supposed to be on a boat. It's also to support the show. All right? We not like all the other morning programs.
Is it 15th of August? You just said the 4th of August.
I said 15th.
Okay. I had to play back the show later.
Play back the show. Yeah, play back the show. And apologize to me tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll apologize to you tomorrow.
So the 15th of August, the 15th of August, just remember that date. Get on the board. It's also about supporting the show. We are one of the few morning programs that are totally independent. Okay, totally. So it really depends on you watching us right now. Well, I know we're not on. Well, we're still on YouTube, or listening to us wherever you are across planet Earth. Even if you can't be in Trinidad, still buy a ticket. You can go onto the website and you will see, click the support button and give the price of a ticket in terms of your support for the station. Have a fantastic day, people. Smile and laugh. It's great for your health. As I said, was saying before, we know you have a choice in all on where you dedicate your time on a morning, and we are glad and appreciate that you chose us, helping to make Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, planet Earth, a better place.
All right, you have been listening to
The Breakfast Show.
It's a Friday, baby. To the world. Shake what your mama gave ya.
Hey. Get up, it's the time to start the day. The breakfast show is here. We bring in the soca way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Breakfast Show.